Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong. Okay? Elon is going hard. And I approve. I approve of it. I'm here for it. What happened? He said they said starting next week, they're gonna start unbanning, I guess, all the accounts. So, why is Keem promoting your Twitter? I thought he hated you. They'll probably like me after fighting with
DGGL.
Oh. Okay, I cleared Planet Lily yesterday. Today I'm clearing Novice. And then I'm going to have no more biters in this fucking game. Then we work on Tier 2 Space Science, okay? Clearing Novice with the Tesla gun? Wait, do you think that's not possible? Or... Wait, did Sam Harris delete his Twitter account? Oh, probably because Trump was let back on.
Chat. Do you want to see my pet turkey? Look at him. So fat. So round. He's my favorite.
Tracer. Thanksgiving has come.
Yay. I'm sure my turkey is hungry.
Yes. So am I.
Oh, Jesus. I got it. Bro, how is it possible? Apparently this guy's a fan of mine. He wanted me to talk about how he did against our Benny boy.
You know what we really need for Thanksgiving? A vegan debate. Call up Games, see what he's up to.
I got the Henny, I got the Henny, I got the Amsterdam, and I got the Frog.
What?
I got...
Same thing again, I don't think we saw it this time. And the Republican nominee, barring Trump somehow, but I don't... Actions, I'm not pretending itself. Yeah, they'll be just in... Okay, so
this guy is a fan
maybe
of
they're
mine?
scared because I said it, but you know.
60% of Republicans, according to polling.
I hear
like
Draven and
Again,
Tristana are very strong this patch. They say this is the best patch in Tristana. And Draven's history, can you believe it?
Wow.
Bad. Laxalt was not a bad candidate, but Laxalt was associated with Trump in some victory in ballot across the country. And first party to...
Why do you link me in the middle
when he
of this?
loses. So I think it's going to be the same thing again. I don't think we saw it this time.
I mean, I disagree, but I don't want to take up any more
I
time.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, it's going to be the next guy coming on. Okay.
Hey, Ben. I wanted to get a little bit away from politics for a second and ask about what to look for in a spouse. So I'm from a Oh, shut up. So I'm from a traditional Middle Eastern community in Brooklyn, and a lot of people that I've spoken to tell me, you know, the way you fall in love is, you know, somebody takes on certain roles, the traditional roles, you know, taking care of your house, raising your children. And then I listen to people like Jordan Peterson who will say that, no, you find somebody that, you know, you have to contend with, or Jonathan Haidt, who speaks about the progression from the romantic love period to compassionate love, to companionate love period.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess my question is, outside of sharing the same values religiously and politically, what should you look for in a spouse to, you know, ensure that the relationship will flourish after that romantic love period?
So I think that it's a great question. I mean, obviously, you named the biggest thing that people, and that is the thing that people miss, by the way, right? The way that people date is for the romantic love, and they don't think about the companionate love or the sharing of the values. So you actually took most of the question off the table, because you were like, here's all the important stuff. Tell me about the not important stuff. So, okay, so among the non-important things, but they're still important. Obviously, there has to be sexual compatibility and attraction between you and your spouse, right? That's an important thing. Pretending that it doesn't exist is really foolish. Now, when I say sexual attraction and compatibility, I would hope that you wait to find out whether there is compatibility until after you're married, right? So the idea of sexual attraction is very important. But, you know, I'm an advocate of traditional marriage, which means I'm an advocate of virginity until marriage.
Doesn't it seem kind of weird to marry somebody before you figure out, like, a really important compatibility? But whatever.
I have been my entire life. I was a virgin until I was married. My wife was a virgin until we were married. We are both happy, very happy for that. Because one of the things that it did is it actually meant that we had to respect each other as human beings before we actively became sexual with one another. We actually had to make a lifelong commitment to each other before we were going to give each other that part of ourselves. So I think that's a really important thing. You know, as far as other attributes, somebody you can have fun with, somebody who's able to handle crisis would be a really good attribute. And you know, C.S. Lewis talks about sort of the different attributes of men and women. One of the attributes that he points out is that under stress, men tend to recede. Men tend to be like, okay, I'm going to go silent. This is what happens during stressful situations. And women tend to become more active. And so they help, right? But the way they help is by annoying you, right? And for men, the way that they help is by like running away to the man cave and brooding, right? And so finding a spouse who's actually able to understand those differences is very difficult, and if you can find it, absolutely phenomenal. Communicating with your spouse is really, really important. I mean, I've told a bunch of stories about me and my wife and how we have these sort of gaps from time to time, and one of the things I love about my spouse is that I will actually sit with her and I'll be like, okay, I'm a man, I don't understand what's going on, I need you to explain this to me like I'm a small child. And thank God she will. I mean, she's very, you know, giving that way. And I think that open line of communication is really great. Having a sense of humor, being goofy is really necessary. Life is rough, and particularly after you have kids. Kids are wonderful. I have 3 of them. They're also a giant pain in the ass, and they're extraordinarily tiring. And so if you don't have a sense of humor about your kids or about your life, it's going to be real rough. So having a sense of humor is a big thing.
Thank you.
I think this is I don't know if Ben has grown up or if I just haven't heard him talk about relationships much, but that was probably one of the only times I've heard somebody speak about the differences between men and women and acknowledge the shortcomings of both, and then give an example for a relationship for how both of them help to overcome those shortcomings. Like the red pill answer, I would expect to be like, oh, like when there's a problem, I expect my wife to shut the fuck up and sit back and let the man be the leader, and blah. Like that's like the red pill answer for everything. Whereas he's like, I have these strengths, my wife has these strengths. Sometimes I need her to explain this. Sometimes blah blah blah. It was a really, really positive answer for communicating differences in marriages.
You're the man.
This will be our final question.
Okay, so I was raised very pro-choice, and now I am a pro-life advocate. I'm involved in the movement.
But Ben isn't red pill? Yeah, no, I don't think most conservatives aren't red pill. That's like more of an internet younger thing. But well, I don't understand why I was linked this video. Was that a DGGer? He didn't even. It must have been the kid before. I don't know. Fuck, he fucked the timestamp up, I guess. Does Melina still not pay 50% of the rent? No, but that's because I out-earn her by quite a bit. I don't think I'd have my partner pay 50% of something if I'm out-earning them. What percentage does she pay? I don't know. Probably like 1/4 or something.
We have
To be honest, she probably still overpays, but
to do whatever we can to protect the kids. And if that means shutting down the entire Catholic Church and bombing Vatican City.
Poor Dan.
That's not good.
Parody.
Of course, bro. I don't.
What's wrong with you?
I don't own an army.
Thanks, Ethan.
I don't have a military at my disposal.
Hey, I don't know what sounds these are. Let me just play them. What does this do? One. Wait.
No. I mean like with an army, not like a terrorist attack. I meant like.
No.
It's
Hey,
the
this kinda
whole
works.
city. The whole city.
This kind of works.
I didn't
That's
mean
wrong.
like an act of. Come on, it's a joke. We have to.
It's so weird that he, like, Jesus, like, we're doing, how many fucking terror attacks and shit are going on right now with, like, far-right people bombing and shooting people and the fucking everything. Like, why, like, it's just so stupid. Why would you, like, it's current year. It's not past year. It's not current year minus 4 years.
To hide billions of dollars in fraud. And now their ex-CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, is trying to convince everyone it was an accident. He isn't such a bad guy. He just got in over his head. And already there are financial commentators like Kevin O'Leary willing to vouch for him.
I just think he's a very interesting individual. Over time, we'll peel this onion, find out what happened. I don't think that guy has an evil bone in his body.
Now, it may not surprise you, but Kevin O'Leary is a paid spokesman for FTX. But even unpaid sources have parroted his claims. Take, for instance, the New York Times. They quote SBF saying he was just distracted, and that's why FTX fell apart. Quote, had I been a bit more concentrated, that would have allowed me to catch on to what was going on the risk side. That's right, guys. If he only hadn't played League of Legends, he might have noticed he was stealing customer money. Now, of course, the New York Times was roasted for their uncritical take on Sam, as was Kevin O'Leary. But even respected financial journalists that I personally like Matt Levine of Bloomberg, have recently floated theories around that maybe this is fraud, but maybe not. Quote, I don't want to minimize the likelihood of intentional fraud and theft, but I want to say that the story of FTX also reads like what would happen if you and a few college friends set up a gigantic international financial exchange. Your friends are traders and engineers, not
Does this
accountants.
planet have biter meteorites? It does, but I set up like 10 of these fucking cannons just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because it does have biter meteorites. But what is the 100% chance to shoot everything down?
Compliance officers. They're running a huge exchange and are too busy for paperwork. They move fast and break things. Now, stories like that, to me, leave me wondering, well, was this fraud at all? Or was it just a couple of college grads who didn't know the value of an accountant? Could be either one, right? And I want to address this, not because anyone in the media specifically believes that Sam isn't a fraudster, besides Kevin O'Leary probably, because of course there are plenty of legal reasons not to explicitly call someone a fraud. But I still think it's relevant to address these ideas and narratives either way, because you can be certain this is going to be SBF's defense. He may have been dumb, he may have been negligent, he may have made some mistakes, but he isn't a criminal. He already came out and said it once. I effed up twice. But instead of mentioning fraud, he says it's because of poor internal labeling that FTX fell apart, which I mislabel things all the time. And in a way, that's a compelling, simple explanation. Don't attribute to malice what you can attribute to stupidity.
When I'm doing a lot of like logic operations and shit in this game, does anybody ever, there was a thing that I heard a long time ago that like base 10 is like kind of shit. And that, does it make sense to say base 12? That like having like a different base would be so much better for mathematical operations. Like in base 10, you've got 1, 5, and 10. Like, how dog shit is that? Like, what's 3/4 of fucking 10 is 7.5 or 2.5? Like, or what's like a third? Like 3.3333. Like it's actual dog shit. But 12 is so easy, right? What's half of 12? I've got 6 of something. I've got 9 or 3. 8 is a nice number. 4, 2. Like everything works so much better in base 12. Like I noticed that when I'm like doing things like, I used to always organize things like, oh, I want 5 cannons, I want 10 cannons, I want 15 cannons. But like dividing any of this is dog shit. But if I do things like in 12, so I'm doing like 3 of something, 6 of something, 12 of something, like it's just, it works out so much better for arranging and doing everything. Like, oh my God. Just, I feel like the 1, 2, 5, and 10. It's just a dog shit way of organizing. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we only do base 10 because we have 10 fingers, but I don't know if that would. Yeah, I don't know. What are you gonna do? Sorry. Okay. What are you gonna do?
Or in this case, don't attribute to fraud what you can attribute to a polycule of 20-year-olds in the Bahamas getting in over their head.
Polycules.
That is basically what he wants you to believe. And so I'm here to answer that question. Could it possibly be that FTX is just a story of negligence? Well, the short answer is no. And the long answer is hell no.
Oh,
since FTX unraveled,
hell
I've been
no, he
speaking
says.
to Alameda insiders, FTX insiders, even people who called out FTX months ago, like short seller Mark Cohodes. And the one thing...
Okay, hold on. Tree says she has something for me.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hello, happy Thanksgiving. What's up?
So listen, you're gonna get your Twitter account back, but in the meantime, I gotta share something with you. I've been holding on to this for so long.
Oh boy.
So I'm really excited to share it with you. So good news, another good news for me. My original Twitter account was restored. It was restored last week.
Oh
right?
my God, that's amazing.
Now, I know, isn't it awesome? Now remember, I sent you a DM. I said, listen, because I didn't.
Wait, did you just curious for that account? Did you like appeal it, or did it just like happen to get unbanned, or what happened?
It just happened to get on the ban. Well, I appealed it long time. Hold on. Let me give you the steps, because I have been trying to. Because that my original tree of logic. See, the second account that I got unbanned. I did something wrong on there, right? I was a little edgy.
Okay.
My first one, all I did was call David Duke a racist grandpa, and they permabanned me for ageism.
Damn. Oh, based. Okay. Jeez.
What you mean based? That's not based.
I mean, ironic. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So, so I was like, so I had been appealing for like 2 years because, listen, I was unjust. That was not justified, right? So next thing I know, I got a email because I've been doing it. It's been rejected ever since Elon came back. I gave up for a while, and then I got an email saying that my appeal has been approved. That my suspension was unfair. It was unjustified. Blah blah blah. So I've been really paranoid on that because that's my biggest account. Me and Lauren is following each other. I'm like following a lot of people. A lot of people are following me, and it has the most subscribers. And that is that's the Twitter account I contacted you on, Steven.
Oh, cute. Okay.
Oh no, it's not cute. Cause let me tell you what you did to me, right?
Oh no.
So,
Tell me what I did to you. Yeah.
Listen. You know how you always say, when I get to conservatives, I gotta slow feed them because they always a little bit of retarded. Do you know I did that to you? I've always wanted to be your fucking friend. Always.
Yeah.
I did.
This is starting to sound like a Mr. Girl talk. Go ahead.
No. I ain't gonna do the empath shit. I'm not gonna love bomb you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you let's get a daggone a timeshare together. I'm not gonna do none of that shit. I got fucking proof I tried to be friends with you a long time. Unlike his ass, he's all talk no action. I am actually gonna show you the receipts.
Oh,
so
shit.
when you get your account and reinstated, you can see the fucked up things you said to me. Okay.
Bro, the first thing I'm gonna do when I get that account, I'm gonna go back and delete all of my DMs. I bet there's so much cringy fucking shit in there. Oh my God. That would have been like a 5-year-old Steven. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you. Hold on. I want you to share this with your chat, so you can only see from my end.
Okay.
Let me email it to you.
It doesn't delete on their end? Yeah, I know. I don't want to read it myself. All right, let's see. What do you got?
Okay, read the first one.
Hi, Destiny. I was wondering if you would be interested in moderating for a discussion between Richard Spencer and I this Saturday. The reason I'm asking is because I'm a right-winger who you don't like. Spencer is the leader of the alt-right who you don't like. Therefore, we are two people who you don't favor. This will make you the perfect moderator because you will not be afraid to shut us up if either of us interrupt the other, and you don't have a dog in this fight. Are you interested? Maybe you need to do more research first.
Now, hold on. Before you... No, wait. Before you read the rest. I knew that you had a problem with right-wingers and this, that, and the other, but I was like, maybe I can show him that, hey, I'm not bad. I don't like alt-righters. I can't stand them. They're very racist, anti-Semitic, blah, blah, blah. And that he would, slowly spoon feed you to be a moderator, and then go and say, hey, after you did a great job moderating, I'd be like, hey, Steven, awesome that you moderated. Hey, how about you? And I constantly keep slowly spoon feeding you into my circle so that you and I can communicate offline, be friends, and this, that, and the other, right? So I'm going to show you what I was trying to do, right? And so so you basically just questioned me, and then you said, why would you as a black conservative do something like that, blah, 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 and then read what you said.
Okay.
You first of all, you just shot me down. You was talking about, I can't believe you're black and you're a conservative, blah, 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 some other bullshit. And that you even said, why would you platform that Nazi?
Okay. Wait, how do you know this? Do you just remember it, or?
I just remember it.
Okay, gotcha. Because my site isn't shown here yet, but okay. So then you said, maybe you need to do more
research. That's why I want you to get your account.
Yeah.
When you get your account, that's why I want you to read it. I want you to show everybody what you said to me.
Gotcha. So then you said, maybe you need to do more research first. By that question alone, I can tell you know absolutely nothing about me. Sorry for bothering you. Take care. And then I must have said something else.
Okay, go to the second one.
And you said, why do I need a moderator for a circle jerk? How does that make sense? ? Then you said, disregard my previous request. My apologies for bothering you. Enjoy your night.
After you've been shitty to me and snarky and this, that, and the other, I was like, okay, don't cuss this little bitch motherfucker out. Just give us some time, and he'll come around. You'll find something else to invite him to, or to just slowly try to give an olive branch to. But you know what you end up doing? You end up befriending Lawrence. By the way, Lauren, if you're listening to this, no hate. I'm just showing Steven that he decided to be friends with you instead of me.
Okay, hold on, wait. Back then, I don't think we were friends at all.
No, you weren't friends with. But what I'm saying is, I came to you first to try to be friends, and then Lauren came after that, and you accepted her friendship and told me to kick rocks.
Okay, I don't remember the timelines. Didn't I become friendly with you before I became friendly with her? Because I think I became friendly with Lauren 7 or 8 months ago. When did we start to become friendly? Go for it. Yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna tell you how you became friends with because I was like you know how you got that meme when you're outside of the window and you're looking at everybody playing?
Yeah.
That was me in the inside of the meme, looking out the window of you and Lauren playing together, streaming together, this and the other. You two became friends after she invited you onto her panel. That was, I think it was 2 years later.
Gotcha. Wow.
And so that's why I was like, I want to know, why, why did you, I guess I'm just showing, hold on, two things. That my purpose is to bring awareness to you, is that there's not one video of me shitting on you. Even when I was in a situation where people in my circle, when I was on a panel, are all conservative or a right-wing panel, where people was like, how the fuck you want to sit up, after becoming friends with you, right? People gave me a hard time of why I was friends with you, and I still defended you, and I said, listen, I know you guys got a problem with him, but I like him. He's cool, he's edgy. Now I got, back then, what I really liked about you was your edginess. Now I got a goddamn water version of that shit. So if I see you in person, you're not gonna be as edgy as I think you were, as you used to be back then in 2016, right?
Sure.
And so, it's like I just wanted to show it to you, hey, I tried to be your friend long time. I never made a video dissing you. I never talked bad behind your back. I never double crossed you. And I think you're just a bad judgment of character. You choose fucked up people.
You want to know honestly? Do you want to know the east way to become friends with me? You know why we finally became friends? And I have the same problem with my fucking wife, unironically. It's really just a matter of, are you willing to hop on stream with me? I don't know when it started, but my guess is going to be that for Lauren, I bet that the reason why we became friends more quickly than you and I did is probably because she wanted to come on stream and argue about stuff or chat about stuff. And then I'm pretty sure when I think about you and me, we started to become more friendly as you started to hop on stream more, right? That's usually just how it goes. It's just a matter of spending time with somebody. Yeah. We've talked privately a bit too, generally because usually that's my way of spending time with people is usually doing stuff on stream. So if you're willing to hop on stream and chat, that's usually the easiest way for me. Oh, cool, and then we talk more, and then I become kind of friendly. That's usually how it goes.
Oh.
But I think you and I
So it's not the other way around.
I remember walking around having private conversation with you about like, it was like business related stuff, career related stuff, 2 or 3 years
Only
ago, right?
Afterwards, only after.
No, wait. That was, hold on, wait.
You-
Hold on, because I remember this. I do like location and voices. I have these tie together really well for me. When I was living in Culver City, which was 2 or 3 years ago, I very specifically remember walking around my bedroom because you called me and you were asking me questions related to like accounts getting banned or how to do stuff
that
on
was
YouTube.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So we did have those conversations. Those are like friendly conversations, right?
No, you and I are cool as we're down like, 4 flat tires filled with fat women. We are cool as hell. My thing is that I way back then tried to be your friend. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not bitter. So if the chat's doing copium, that's not true. You chose Lauren to be friends with her before me, and I was the one who initiated it first. That's what I just want to show you.
Okay. I think I was having personal friendly conversations with you before her, but I'll note your.
No, you was not.
I was. I just talked to you about that Culver City. Yeah, I know we've had a couple of like private conversations. Do you remember that?
No, we did not.
Wait.
No, we did. It's
do you
not
remember?
Me, wrong black woman. No.
What? Wait, do you remember? Wait, but you just said you remember 2 years ago having those conversations, right?
2 years ago, but how long have you been friends with Lauren? You've been friends with Lauren since 2018.
No shot. No, it's been like it's been like a year. No, it's been a year at the most. It's been a year at the most. I think
Steven,
that like hold on.
Go look.
I
hold
think
on.
no.
Ask your chat. Okay, when did you? Hold on, I can help you out.
Wait.
When did you
play League with her?
When did you become? Huh?
There was a time when we played.
No.
We played League one time like 4 years ago, and then we didn't talk to each other for like a year or two. Like that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but
somebody.
There you go. Now you just proved me right. You
What?
played League with her 4 years, so therefore you had to be in common communication with her prior to that, right?
No. But it was a super random. I think I came across her on like Instagram or something, and one of us like liked the other's pictures. Like, oh, we should play League sometime. I was like, okay, sure, why not? Because I thought it'd be funny. It would have been good content. And then we played one game, and then we didn't talk for like 2 years. That was it. Because she fed
Steven,
really
when
hard
did
on my
you
game.
come onto her panel? When did you come onto her channel and on her debate panel? When did that happen?
I think that the somebody linked me a video. I don't know why they dumb these interfaces down. It says 1 year ago. What is the day? Oh, on May 15th, I think she came onto my stream after a Hunter Avalon debate, and then we had a conversation, I think, about that debate. That was, I think that's when we, and then that's when we started.
What year was that? Give me some years.
This says May 15th,
What year was
2021.
No, you did it. What year did you come onto her debate panel? She invited you onto her debate panel. That's the first, and that's when I saw you on her debate panel. She invited you. You came on. What year was that?
What year was that?
I'm just going to say 2018.
Yeah,
That
but we
was
weren't friends from
2018 when that happened.
2018 through. Dude, she was like in Australia. She was like dropped off the radar completely. Like 2018. Yeah, no,
Okay,
she like
so
disappeared for
when-
literally 2 years.
Yeah, you're right about that. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So when did when she came back from being underground that you two started to be cool?
I think it was when she did that Hunter
Really good.
Avalon debate, but that was in May of last year. Listen, there's room in my heart for everybody.
I don't
okay?
have any.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, it's not that. It's just that
Somebody's
I was
saying, here's a
little,
tweet. July 2021 was when you played League with Southern and started talking with her more frequently. Somebody said that.
Thank you. So that was.
That was in July of 2021.
So, no. Yeah.
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 You're trying to blow me up here. What is the angle
No,
you're
no,
playing
no,
here? Because
no,
you're
no.
what? Because it was a white
No,
woman versus a black
no, no,
woman.
no,
Is that
no,
what you're
no.
trying to do here, Tree? Is that what you're trying to
No,
blow me
no.
up on? It's okay if that's what you want to take it. Then just say it. Say it with your fucking chest.
No. No, because I invited you, to come and be a moderator, and you turned me down. And then when she invited you on her platform, you was like, sure. And you went on there, and this is 2008, 2 years after I reached out to you.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to see like the
So
videos and
that was
stuff.
the
I don't
thing,
think because I know my rough timeline with her, and I don't think I talked to her like at all when she was in
I wish
Australia.
she was here. I would.
Yes, I try to
wish
figure
Lauren
out
would come.
what our friendship timelines were.
You know what? Hey, guess what? She and I are friends. She and I follow each other on my original account. I can always DM her and find out.
Okay. I mean, if...
As a matter of fact, I am going to DM her and find out. I just I've been holding on to this for so long just to show you, like, dude, you fucking, like, dog me out. And even then, I was still nice to your fucking bitch ass, and I still was interested in being your friend and continued to do so. And it's like you went and said, oh, you went and chose. I'm not jealous. I'm just saying you chose Lauren before me to be friends.
Somebody is bringing up that I did a panel in 2017 with them. Is that what you're talking about? Lauren Southern, no bullshit.
Yeah,
Nick
there you go.
Oh, okay.
That sounds about right. 2017 or 2018.
But I wasn't friends with them. It was just content. They wanted me to bring on and like have a debate and shit. But that was arguing against them.
I would be very interested to see if Lauren, because I remember hearing Lauren talk about you, and she said that she invited you onto her panel, and then she realized that you were cool after that and decided to be friends with you after that. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Really?
Call her out, because that's some bullshit, okay? We weren't friends until like a year and a half ago, okay? So if she said that, she's fucking lying, okay? She's lying. But you can't trust her because she's a fucking Canadian, okay? There's some snaky motherfuckers, okay? Oh, well, actually, maybe you like them more. They send all the worst down here, okay? Fucking Stefan Molyneux, fucking Jordan Peterson, all these, okay?
Nah. The only Canadian I like is ABBA. You tend to get with crazy ass unhinged motherfuckers like Annalicia. Okay. So I'm not. No, don't even go there with the Canadian thing over here. All right. And one last thing, and then if Abba hops into the group chat, I'll hop in it too. But one last thing, I want to bring your attention to something. Notice how, because every time that heifer comes into you and start triggering everybody, my DMs and my fucking email just go through the roof. And I went to go listen back at that stream, and I want your input on this. Notice how when you, Devin, Abba, the lead attorney, Dan, some other guys are in there, right? Notice how that conversation was, I thought that was a very productive conversation, like nice and calm.
Yeah.
People were respectable. Nobody over-talked each other, nobody loud-talked each other, you know what I'm saying? Notice how that conversation was nice and smooth.
Okay.
Then when the discussion was over, and then she hopped in, the shit went from goddamn 0 to 100, unhinged, talking shit, and especially when Straight Array came in there, it's like if it's another woman come in there, she just get there was another woman, the light-skinned one from the England or the UK or something like that. She came in first. So it's like it takes I guess what I'm saying is, and I'll put this to the test. That woman she doesn't like other women. But when another woman with masculine energy come up in there, which I do have, then that bitch is fucking running. She doesn't know how to handle it. So Jesus. I think you should see the difference between someone who brings discussion versus somebody who brings chaos. And maybe you like that. It could be content.
Yeah, no, I've had like really strong, I've had really strong conversations with her recently about her like calming the fuck down. But she said she's acknowledged it and she's working on it. That she like knows that she's really bombastic.
Did that sound like she was working on it? On that conversation, like?
Well, there was one that I had on a show recently with a couple of Red Pill people, and yeah, she was really chilled out. But I mean, we'll see what happens in the future.
One, and guess what? Did they not boot her off? I thought I saw her disappear.
No, they didn't. She got disconnected. She didn't get booted. But we'll see. Hey, we'll see what happens. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and like say you're wrong. She's obviously chaotic as fuck, of course. I'm not gonna disagree with that. But yeah, we'll see if she improves or not.
Do you like that?
To some extent, yeah. Like chaos is fun. But if I'm trying to have productive conversations, it gets annoying. So it just depends on the setting, I guess.
Okay. All right. I'm just all right. That's what I just wanted to bring to you and everything. So.
Okay.
I will DM Lauren, and you're probably right. I'm gonna assume you're right now, Steven. So, but until then, oh Lord, if she give me receipts, you know, other than that. But I have a funny feeling your Twitter account's gonna get unbanned. And
I'm gonna have an army of them. I'm gonna Voltron. I have like 6 Twitter accounts with over 50,000 followers. So when those come back, oh my God, I'm gonna be harassing so many people.
You cannot. You only can concentrate on one account, Steven.
Well, but I'm just saying,
One
I'm
account
gonna
at a
have
time.
like 6 of them. What am I gonna do with them? We've got Omni Destiny, Stephen Bunnell, Gaze Within, Modal Seventh, the Omni Liberal.
appealed for all.
Well, I didn't appeal
shit.
them. No, I didn't appeal. The only one I ever appealed was the Omni Destiny one, and it got denied because it said I was making other accounts to ban evade. But now Elon just tweeted out some shit saying that they're gonna unban all accounts that didn't do something illegal. So if that's
Only
the case,
if you have submitted, if you submitted appeal for all of them in the most recent month, then yes, they all will possibly maybe sort of get unbanned. But I would suggest you do what I did and concentrate on one account at a time. Like I have 2 accounts, and one was to my my brand, media, Liberty South Media. But the one I really give a shit about, the one I really cared about, was my tree underscore logic one. That was the account that I gave a shit about because that was my original personal brand one.
Sure.
And so I was like for 2-3 years, no, actually more than that, ever since it got yeeted, I have been applying for appeals, and then the last appeal I applied for was 2 weeks ago, and then that's when I got, while I was at the gym, I got a notice that they realized I was not in violation of Twitter's TOS, and they unsuspended my account. Like, how the fuck are you gonna punish a black woman for calling a white supremacist, David Duke, a racist grandpa? He's a grandpa, and he's also racist. How the hell is that ageism? How is that ageism?
okay, true, yeah. But Elon tweeted newly today that they're just gonna like blanket unban all of the banned accounts.
Is that what he's? Okay, you're giving me new information I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah, we'll see what
Okay,
happens,
okay, so what are you gonna do with all those accounts then?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I started applying for unban. I applied for another unban for that Omni Destiny one like 3 days ago, and I haven't gotten a response yet, which I think is good because usually they get instantly shut down.
Yeah,
so.
you're gonna get that one unbanned. That's why I was so like, I wanted to. In a way, as days were going by, when I couldn't get my schedule together, at least I was like, well, shoot, at least we get to see what he said on his end, because my account is unbanned and I get to show what I said to you.
Yeah, true.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let you get back to your factorial.
Thanks.
Is that how you pronounce that game?
That is how you pronounce it, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll leave. I want to say goodbye to your DGG chat and your YouTube chat. And I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay, the guy donated. He said he was this person. Watch this guy. Sorry, okay.
Hi, Ben. I'm Adam. I take economics here, so obviously I disagree with conservatives on most things. I tend to be pretty left-leaning. My question is about the modern American conservative movement. So you have a famous saying, facts don't care about your feelings, that obviously drove a lot of popularity for you. Yeah, sure, I agree with that sentiment. My question is, I think polling has showed that something like 2/3 of Republicans today believe the 2020 election was stolen. It's very clear this is not just a fringe group. Like Carrie Lake, I think, was on Tucker Carlson recently and was saying that, oh yeah, my opponent is the Secretary of State. You never know, she could take votes. Obviously, I might be misquoting, but that's the general sentiment of what she said. And my question is, does that feel a little bit ironic to you that the conservative movement in America tends to portray themselves as caring very much about facts and logic, but when it comes to Daddy Trump losing an election, then all of a sudden, that's not really the case? And I'm asking in good faith because I think you said that he would destroy the social fabric or something along those lines in 2016. You said in 2020 the damage had already been done, so you were okay supporting him. And then after that, he's obviously done a lot more damage to the social fabric. So where do you stand on that?
I mean, where I stand on the election of 2020 is the same place I always stood. He lost the election of 2020. I said that the day that he lost the election of 2020. That night. Now, there are a lot of influences that I don't particularly like about the 2020 election. I don't like the media coverage. I don't like the silencing of the Hunter Biden story. I don't like the changing of the rules to allow for vast mail-in balloting, which I just, on principle, oppose. I think that people should go on the day of the election. They should vote on the day of the election. I don't like election month or election 2 months, right? But none of that is to say that election fraud was the cause of Donald Trump losing the 2020 election. It was not. Donald Trump was the cause of Donald Trump losing the 2020 election. He ran a very bad campaign and he lost to a person who is dead. Okay, so like so you know, as far as I'm not going to answer for other people's perspectives that I don't share.
Sure, I'm just asking what you think the future of the conservative movement in this country
so
is.
I will say
a sizable portion believes something like
that. Right.
So
so first of all, I think that the way to read a lot of what's going on in politics right now is incredibly reactionary. Almost everything that's happening is just reactionary. If the media say black, then Republicans and conservatives are going to say white. And if the right says something, the left will immediately say the opposite. Right? We don't even share a common framework of facts at all. And so what the right will do very often is they'll say, I don't even understand why the left is making a big deal out of election denial. You guys were calling Stacey Abrams the governor of Georgia for years on end. Right? We did 4 years of Donald Trump was elected in 2016 because of Russian collusion that never materialized. Right? Like, so this game can be played on all sides. With that said, I can say that I think all of that was bullshit, right? I think the Russian collusion stuff was not true, and I think that it was an attempt to scurrilously.
I really, I don't know if he's going to try to hold him to time. The Russian collusion stuff and the Trump claims of voter fraud are just two entirely different things. They're so different.
Scurrilously undermine the presidency of Donald Trump. I can also say that I think Donald Trump lost the 2020 election because he lost the 2020 election.
And
so,
not to interrupt, but just real quick on the Russia thing. Obviously, the idea that Trump was like this agent being controlled by Russia was stupid. No one thinks that. Or maybe some people.
Well, a lot of people at the beginning.
No
not
serious
many.
people
Yes.
who are worth sort of talking to think that. But obviously the IRA was a real thing. Russia influenced our election to the extent that they organized protests and such. And
true.
Hillary Clinton conceded the election the next day. So
True.
I think there is a meaningful distinction to make between
Well,
saying that Russia influenced the election in 2016. People still knew Trump was
Okay,
president.
but
Whereas now it's
okay, so if you took polls in the aftermath of the 2016 election, you asked whether Donald Trump was an illegitimate president. Right? Not whether he was elected, whether was he an illegitimate president. A significant percentage of Democrats would say he was an illegitimate president in the aftermath.
That's such a more nebulous phrase, though, like an illegitimate president versus like Trump literally saying there was widespread voter fraud. That's such a more direct claim, right? I think when I'm looking at like the difference in the gravity of the claims, my question is going to be like, well, what is the solution that both sides are presenting? Like, what would the solution have been for Democrats? To investigate to see if there's collusion, to I don't know what else, to like make sure the State Department is monitoring international communications more, I guess. Like these would have been the solutions the Democrats come over. Like what is Trump calling for? Like literally overturning the election, right? There's a difference between the gravity of the prescriptions that both sides are making here that make these two claims very different from one another, right? Impeach Trump. I don't think. What was the God? I'm trying to remember because he got impeached twice. What was the first Trump impeachment for? Was it over the January 6th shit? Because Trump didn't get impeached for Russian collusion.
Aftermath of the 2016 election. I think it was something in the on the order of, and I'd have to check it, but it was over 30%. Were in the immediate aftermath saying he was an illegitimate president, and that was language that was frequently used.
Oh no, it was Ukraine was first, and then January 6th. Sorry, timeline is backwards.
Aftermath that election. Again, that doesn't. Two wrongs don't make a right. That doesn't excuse the saying that the election was stolen and that it was stolen in a wide variety of states using unspecified methods or any of that. I'm not excusing that. The point I'm making is that we live in such a reactionary time that people are bouncing off of each other like billiard balls. And it's a real mistake, which is why, as I've said, I think that for future elections, and this is true for both parties, first party to sanity wins. First party to sanity wins. Okay, and I think that what the election of 2022 really showed is that the American people don't like a lot of what they're saying Democrats on policy, because Republicans won by about 4.5 points in the generic ballot across the country. And they really don't like a lot of the Republican candidates who are embracing what they saw as crazy town stuff. And it was almost a targeted strike on people who they thought were saying crazy town stuff. And this is why Ron DeSantis wins by 20 in Florida, because he was just governing in Florida and doing a good job in Florida. So he took a 0.4 percentage point victory in 2018 and turned into a 20-point election victory in 2020. Mike DeWine, who, by the way, took the exact opposite view of DeSantis on COVID, won by 20 in Ohio. Anyone who's perceived as competent in their state did really well. Anybody who is perceived as not competent or crazy or off the wall did really, really poorly. And you saw this even within states, right? Chris Sununu in New Hampshire won going away in his gubernatorial race in New Hampshire. Don Baldick lost by 11 points in New Hampshire. You saw this over and over in Nevada. Right, Lombardo ended up winning. The Republican won in Nevada. Laxalt was not a bad candidate, but Laxalt was associated with Trump in some minds, and that hurt him in some ways. Right? You see this like all over the place. And so the point that I'm making is that what people actually want from Republicans is something that Republicans have to actually give them, which is a sense of stability and solidity. And many Republicans are refusing to do that. I think that's what you're pointing out.
Did you trim Lily's service? Not yet. I will after I
thinking that
finish.
Because they won 2020 and because they did better than expected in 2022, this means they now have a green light for their entire agenda. And that would be a wild misread of the tea leaves. If they decide that they're really going to double down on Elizabeth Warren-style modern monetary theory or something, they're going to blow out the spending. They're going to go soft on China, or they're going to steer in an extraordinarily environmentalist direction. Or
hold on. Wait. once I finish Vector, I'm going to be way more into politics so I can follow all of these claims better. But I feel like every single thing he just said there was like wrong. Hold on.
Style modern monetary theory or some wild misread of the tea leaves. If they decide that they're really going to double down on Elizabeth Warren style modern monetary theory or something.
I feel like Biden is trying to do his best to rein in government spending, right? I feel like that's a big goal of his. Like trying to have like deficit neutral legislation passed is a pretty big deal. Trump didn't talk about deficit. Well, he talked about it when he was running for office, but Trump didn't get any deficit neutral legislation passed. They're
going to blow out the spending. They're going to go soft on China. Or
what does go soft on China mean? Didn't the CHIPS Act that we just did, isn't that considered like a pretty significant blow to foreign semi-processor manufacturing? That the United States is going to start to manufacture a lot of semiconductors at home? I thought that was like a pretty big blow to like foreign investment in Chinese manufacturing plants and stuff, the CHIPS Act. So I don't know where this go soft on China means. Oh, Jesus. Oh, he was wrong on this poll too, or he was guessing, but in the US, 84% accept Trump as a legitimate president. I guess 16% not accepting is pretty bad, but even among Clinton voters, 76% accept him as a legitimate president. And that was one day after the election. That was the next day on November 9th. Jesus. We're what, like 2 years from the last election? And it's like 65% of Republicans still think that the election was actually rigged? Sorry.
They're going to steer in an extraordinarily environmentalist direction, or they're going to move so.
I think that environmentalist direction that people are steering in is one that I think the public in general is pushing this, right? Like all of the big pipeline projects that have been canceled have been like politically popular. No, am I wrong in thinking that? Like the Keystone XL pipeline, that shit was dead under fucking Obama. I thought that there's just been so many protests that like the general public is starting to pressure against this type of stuff more and more and more. I could be wrong on that. I don't know where like the polling is. Maybe people's feelings will change when energy prices go up, but I don't think that the American public is like more oil, more coal, more oil. Like I don't think that's where the public pressure is.
Socially liberal to the far extreme. If they do any of those things, they will get punished. It's just
but yeah, maybe that'll change as energy prices increase. I'm not sure.
Question of when they're going to get punished. So that's sort of I think where things stand.
I mean, I disagree with a lot of what you said there on the performance of Republican politicians in their respective states. The point I was making was a little bit more broad than just day-to-day politics, which is that I think what Trump has done to the trust in institutions, specifically in elections, is pretty irreparable. I think it's going to be around for election cycles to come, and I don't think it's comparable to what Democrats are.
I will say I don't think that that's true. That part I don't think is true. And the reason I don't think that's true is how fast did candidates, except for Kari Lake, concede that they lost the elections?
That's fair. Yeah, that's definitely fair, but I'm talking more about the voting public.
Right,
So,
and you're not hearing from I'll take a poll. How many of you, you can be honest, I'm sure some of you think this. How many of you think that the election of 2022 was stolen? Like, show of hands. Not a ton of people. There's some.
That actually is a really good point. A very prescient point, I think is the word I'm looking for. That even though people were kind of talking about it, this is before an event takes place. Okay. No, not prescient. There was a lot of talk beforehand that the election was going to be rigged, but even though Republicans didn't do as well, I don't think you're hearing as much of that talk as like the elections were rigged, the elections were rigged. So, yeah, maybe without Trump cheerleading that, you don't get it as much, or it's not going to be a mainstay of the Republican Party, hopefully.
Okay, but statistically not super significant in a room of 1,000 people. Okay, so maybe they're scared because I said it, but
60% of Republicans, according to polling, something like 50 to 70%.
Again, I'm saying that Trump, the Trump election, every poll about Trump is, if you ask a question that makes me feel bad about Trump, I will just tell you the opposite. That's every poll about Trump ever, right? They'll be like, they can ask literally anything. It'll be like, has Trump been married 3 times? And if it's asked by the New York Times, they'll be like, no, he has not been married 3 times. Ever. Yeah, in fact, he was married only once to Melania forever. Like Republicans will just tell the New York Times to stiff itself. I mean, that's really what it is. And so I think that a lot of those poll numbers, I'm not pretending that the phenomenon isn't real, it is real. But I do think it's transient. I think a lot of it is in reaction to people they think hate them. And that is going to have to come back together somehow. But I don't think that, I don't think that 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 8 years from now, barring Trump, right? I think Trump is a wild card in all this. Let's say there's another nominee, and the Republican nominee loses. Do I think it's going to be the same thing again? I don't. I don't think we saw it this time.
I mean, I disagree, but I don't want to take up any more time.
I appreciate
So
it. Thank you.
Good job. Okay. Sorry, finishing this real quick.
Thing I'm positive of after all of it is that Sam is probably the greatest con man of our generation. The only real question I have is why did it take us so long to find this out? Now, as I share the evidence that supports this claim, bear in mind—
Who was the chatter that sent it?
compiling
YouTuber.
a complete—
Oh, wait. Never mind. Hold on. I'm calling this guy. This guy wanted to chat. Okay. We're going to scan surface, and hopefully there aren't like these massive biter nests on the outside of this place. Hopefully. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I think because it's already loaded in, they're going to be there. Can you watch this?
Something is off about this channel. On the surface, Kate Yup is a thriving mukbang content creator who has amassed over 1.5 million subscribers. Kate Yup only—
Why is this so spooky? Somebody is saying that majority of Democrats in at least one poll thought Trump was illegitimate shortly after. The problem was the next day. It was a problem a few months after the Russian collusion media cycle. A strong majority of registered voters say they don't believe Democrats have accepted that President Trump won the election fairly, or that he is a legitimate president. Wait. A strong majority of registered voters say they don't believe Democrats have accepted that President Trump won the election. Wait, what is that? What is it asking? The latest Harvard-Harris poll provided exclusively to The Hill, 68% of voters said Democrats have not accepted that Trump won fairly. 69% of Republicans said that, 69% of independents, and 65% of Democrats said that. Well, wait, is this for... Wait, what a weird question. This isn't saying if you've accepted him as a legitimate president. It's saying if you believe the Democrats have accepted you as a legitimate president, right? It's a strange question. I guess I can understand because they're trying to see where they think people are at on it, but... Oh, okay, this guy needs 2 minutes. All right, back to this guy, sorry.
Post-mortem on FTX is admittingly difficult. A paper shredder leaves behind better evidence than Sam Bankman fraud. Sorry, I mean freed. Well, not freed for long. He's going to probably be in jail soon. But until that sweet day arrives, just understand that I don't have the full story yet. Nobody does. Even the people who have full access to the back-end evidence are still puzzled. In fact, the main person tasked with handling the FTX bankruptcy process also handled Enron, which is the definition of complicated corporate fraud. So you'd think it'd be no big deal, right? Nope. FTX is worse than Enron. Quote, never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls. Not only that, he says that everything he got from SBF in the way of evidence, he has, quote, no confidence in, which, isn't great. This is probably because A, Sam has lied, and B, it sounds like everything in his empire was a mess. Allegedly, FTX was approving expenses with, quote, personalized emojis, and that Sam was communicating with disappearing messages that were set to auto-delete after, quote, a short period of time. Not only that, Sam encouraged employees to do the same. So understand that we don't have a full picture of what encouraged employees to...
Is the absence of lasting records of decision-making. Mr. Bankman-Fried often communicated by using applications that were set to auto-delete after a short period of time.
Do the same. So understand that we don't have a full picture of what happened yet, in part because, well, they deliberately avoided leaving one. And I would actually point to this as the first piece of evidence of fraud. You don't show up to the scene of a crime with billions missing and find out all the evidence is destroyed and say, oh darn, maybe they accidentally torched it. No, that in of itself is suspicious. And deleting your text messages and encouraging your employees to do the same, that just screams that you're hiding something. But even though they didn't leave us much to go on, there's still...
Watch the Patrick Boyle video on it, way better. I don't think I've ever seen that Patrick Boyle guy do a bad video. Not yet. He's one of the few good ones. Except he stares a lot. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable. But he seems like a good dude.
Tons of breadcrumbs that lead us to the same conclusion. For example, take the corporate structure of FTX and all their subsidiaries. We've talked about this. It's incredibly complicated, but I'm supposed to believe that the guy who set this up is the same guy who didn't know it was wrong for him to take from one company and steal it. Isn't this the same guy whose parents are both compliance lawyers, sticklers for the rules? You're telling me that guy doesn't understand what basic fraud is? Incidentally, this is actually why Kevin O'Leary thought this was such a safe bet.
I'm a paid spokesperson to FTX and a shareholder there too, and big advocate for Sam because he has two parents.
Wait, okay. Talking to this guy real quick. Wow, hello, hello?
It finally happened.
It finally happened. Here we are after weeks of not.
How you doing?
Pretty good. You want to introduce yourself? Say what you want to chat about?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a researcher slash lecturer down in Australia.
Wait, a researcher
down in
slash.
Melbourne.
Hold on, sorry. Your microphone is very boomy, like high in the mids.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Say that again.
You all good?
Yeah, I can't. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. I gotta know. What the fuck microphone are you on? Is this from like a 2001? Like, they don't make microphones this bad anymore. So you're intentionally trying to have a horrible microphone. So I want to know what kind of microphone it is.
This is just my headphone mics. Is it super bad?
It's really bad. But wait, headphone mic. What kind of headphones do you have?
Oh, like Sony MX3s.
Sony MX3. Noise canceling headphones?
Yeah, they're the ones.
Jesus Christ. Colored, what the fuck? Wait, there's no way they sound like these. Okay.
I mean, if it's super bad, I can try to rustle something else up.
Oh man, I might know. Are you connected through Bluetooth to your laptop or something?
To my phone, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Are you a big technology guy?
Like medium. What's your thought?
Okay, this is just a total random guess, but sometimes when you're using Bluetooth stuff on a computer, what'll happen is you've got multiple ways of connecting to your Bluetooth headset. Sometimes you can connect through like conventional audio means, but other times it'll connect through something that is more reducible to phone call transmission. And it actually is cutting out a ton of frequencies, and it gives it that, like, it sounds like a cell phone call basically, because it's connected to like the Bluetooth, like mobile phone, like transmitter, instead of the actual, like, this is your good digital audio transmitter. But but in your sound settings and under like recording devices, there'll usually be like an option for like Bluetooth wireless headset thing, or it'll say like phone call or some other thing. But it also might not be that at all. It might just be because it's a Bluetooth thing for phones. But regardless, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I can hear you. Just enunciate clearly. So go for
it. All right, sure thing.
Okay, yeah. Anyway,
yeah, so,
you said researcher, and yeah, go for it.
Yeah, researcher down at and lecturer. I'll probably leave it at that, depending on what we talk about. It might, get a little spicy at some point.
Oh boy. Okay.
Well, who knows? So I mean, like, initially the reason I was going to talk to you way back when was you were talking about some Alzheimer's and some things like that.
Yeah.
And that's where I have a bit of a specialty, but I feel like that's kind of gone past. And there were some other things that I've been like, kind of keen to.
Real quick on the on the Alzheimer's stuff, I believe that, I don't know if it was in the US, because you said a lot of your research revolves around Alzheimer's, right? You kind of had a bit of a specialty there.
That's certainly what I used to do. I've kind of moved away from that now, but I'm certainly familiar with a lot of it. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I think for the first time they actually have a drug that is like within the past year. I don't know if it's phase 3 or if it just hit like final approval. They finally have a drug that is actually showing a slowing of the progression of Alzheimer's disease, which I think is new. I don't think there's ever been a drug or a dietary or anything in the history of Alzheimer's disease that's shown to slow the progression. And they finally have one that is slowing it a little bit, which is cool, I think, unless you've heard anything different about that. But
so certainly pretty much all of the ones that I've heard about have all, like repeatedly failed. And for me, I think a lot of that. Do you know the name of it? The latest one I heard of was Qrvc6huPgMA, which is one of the amyloid targeting drugs.
Yeah, it was an amyloid targeting drug.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what did you call it?
I'm not familiar with like.
Did you say lecanemab or whatever?
Gantenerumab? Yeah, like GANTEN.
Oh no, it's LECANEMAB. Lecanemab? I don't know, but apparently
Okay,
this
if
is
it's a mab, then it's yeah.
But yeah, apparently this drug is actually showing a slowing of the disease. Oh, its phase 3 clinical trials found the medication slowed cognitive decline in people with early Alzheimer's disease by 27%. And this is one that prevents the amyloid plaques in the brain from clumping. So it is based on that amyloid plaque theory. And it is actually showing in phase 3 trials a significant reduction in progression of disease, which I think is cool because I think up until now, nothing has shown any slowing whatsoever.
Oh, nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still incredibly skeptical of anything that is amyloid based.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the whole amyloid hypothesis for me is, I think, a bit of a rabbit hole that we've kind of gone down quite poorly, and is actually wasting, at this point, billions of dollars and time. I can go into like super quick, kind of my rationale there if you're interested there.
Sure. We read that. I'm guessing this is going to be heavily referencing that one study that was basically completely debunked by the guy that was going through the images to show that the not protein stains. What do you call the stains, that they were essentially faking a lot of the data, and that was like a watershed study that a lot of the like the amyloid beta plaque theory was built on. But I mean, apparently this drug is targeting those plaques and it's helping. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that. For me, it's kind of the entire ethos around the amyloid hypothesis is kind of flawed. Not only just individual studies, but our entire way of looking at it.
Okay.
So the basic kind of concept. Stop me if you want me to flesh anything out in more detail.
Yeah, go for it.
You get these versions of amyloid that are kind of more sticky than other versions.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up clumping together. They're toxic. They end up killing your neurons and things like that.
Okay.
And so that's all, sounds all well and good as a kind of theory. Have you heard of things like tau proteins as well, for example?
I've heard of them, yes. I think even in the context of Alzheimer's disease, but I don't remember exactly what they do anything, but go ahead.
Okay, so super simply, they're another protein. These ones are inside the cells. They also start getting problems in Alzheimer's, and they start causing your neurons to degrade.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that will say, well, your amyloid is what's end up causing those tau proteins, but then other people will say, no, it's the tau itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the point I'm getting to there is there's also problems we see in Alzheimer's of problems with iron accumulation in the brain. We see problems with how your neurons utilize glucose. So to kind of like pin everything on the amyloid, I think is kind of like a bit of fool's hope, because there's just so many things going wrong with Alzheimer's. That's a bit of the problem.
Yeah.
The second big problem is just fundamentally the way in which we study it. So one of the big ways is we take mice, we take that human version of the amyloid, the kind of sticky version.
Mm-hmm.
We make mice that express that, and that's the way we then try to treat them. And that's all well and good. Again, you can make these transgenic mice. They will express amyloid. They will get memory decline and everything like that. Kind of the big problem there is, your mouse only lives for 2 years.
Okay.
Whereas in humans, you could have been accumulating this amyloid protein for sometimes, up to a decade,
5
sometimes
to 10
even
years,
2
and
decades.
you might not even have symptoms, right?
Exactly, yeah. And not only that, but your biggest problem is that you've got the atrophy. All of those, in that time, because your brain's got this remarkable cognitive reserve. By the time you actually get around to it, and like, sure, you can maybe your drug just fucking nails that amyloid, it obliterates it completely. Problem is, you've still lost all of these neurons in the brain. You know what I mean? And in my mind, you still have all of these other factors like the iron, like the tau, that are still there, also causing damage. And so it's kind of a huge problem that we are still so focused on the amyloid. In my mind, and we need to be much better at looking at kind of firstly screening for who is actually going to get it, and then the other to chuck that in. Have you heard of like familial and sporadic Alzheimer's?
Nope.
Okay, so familial is the genetic version. That's the one we can point to. They have their mutation in the amyloid gene.
Okay.
And that directly causes that sticky protein.
Okay.
That's like 5% of cases. The other 95%, what we call sporadic or late onset, there's actually no like definitive link. There's some where people have a higher risk, sure, but in those people, your amount of amyloid in your brain doesn't actually correlate to how cognitively declined you are at all. You can cut open like someone who dies of, say, a heart attack at 85, and their brain can be riddled with amyloid, and yet they were kind of fine. And so this is going to get to me like a really kind of one of those really strong bits of evidence that kind of point towards, well, is it the amyloid, or is it that there's much more going on?
Yeah, and that's kind of like the thing is that like perhaps the thing that's damaging the brain is also causing errors with the amyloid plaque or whatever and causing it to build up. So just getting rid of the amyloid plaque isn't actually addressing what's causing it to happen. Yeah, and then I figure like
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if this has changed recently or if we just learned simplistic versions in high school, but like it felt like in grade school and high school, you've got like there are different parts of the brain that do different things, and that's all that happens. But our understanding of the brain has become a lot more sophisticated, and your brain seems to be pretty amazing actually at like picking up with some parts, picking up parts of the other, and like working like really good. I think you kind of just explained this. You said cognitive reserve, where you can lose a lot of the actual physical brain function, but because of the I don't know if you'd say plasticity or the adaptability of the brain, it can be hard to even notice you've lost it because the rest of the brain kicks in and does so well.
100%.
Yeah. So all of that is, brain stuff just seems like a nightmare to study. Yeah.
Oh yeah. One of my favorite ones was have you heard of environmental enrichment?
I've heard the term before, but I don't remember what it stands for.
So basically, that's it's kind of become really kind of in vogue, where it's especially now, in children, you want to make sure that your child's like, straight out the womb, they got to be talking, they got to be doing sports, they got to be doing music, they got to have textured patterns in their room. Basically, you got to hit them with as much as possible to try and stimulate the brain, right?
Okay.
And while in theory, I think that's actually a really good idea, when you look at kind of a lot of the research that went in behind it, I think again, like it's very flawed. So the way that they did that was that they took, your regular control rats that kind of sat in a little cage, and then their experimental rats were ones that were raised in this, giant, meter squared cage. It had other rats in it. It had tunnels. It had toys and everything like that. And then those rats in that cage kind of performed much better on cognitive tasks. Kind of the real big problem there is you kind of look at what are your quote unquote control rats, and they're sitting in this tiny, 20 centimeter box, socially isolated with no toys. And you kind of think, okay, are we actually studying how good environmental enrichment is, or are we studying how detrimental, social and physical isolation is?
Sure.
And so are we getting the message kind of backwards there? And I think that's still fine to then say, yes, we should be exposing our kids to all of these things, but I don't think it's going to be producing Mozarts and Einsteins or anything like that. I think that's just what you should be doing for a general kind of process.
Yeah, I remember in the 90s, people were like fucking like told to like basically hold speakers up to their stomach playing classical music because it's stimulating like brain growth and creativity in your fetus, literally. So there would be people who would do stuff like this. And parents are always like susceptible to stuff like this too. So because you obviously want the best for your kid and everything.
Well, that's the thing. For me, it's just the thing that it can be just so exploitable that we can now then, say, oh, if you want your child to have the best, buy this, buy that. And I see that a lot in supplements and everything like that. So, on the scale of tragedies of the world, it's not huge, but it's certainly for me, I think, a frustration that it's exploited in that way. That's for sure.
Sure.
Yeah. So the other things I've kind of been
one other thing. Sorry, before you're gonna do your next thing. Holy shit, I think it looks like they have actually found a drug for weight loss. Have you heard anything about this?
No, weight loss isn't one I follow hugely. What's it called?
There was a drug that they were studying for type 2 diabetes. And let me see if I can find the name of this drug. It looks like they have one of the side effects of one of these drugs, semaglutide. Apparently, they found that this drug in up to 86% of people actually produces like measurable, I think it's like 5 to 15% weight loss by curbing appetite.
Interesting.
Wait, that might not have been the name of the drug. That might have just been the name of this guy's. Wait.
No, semaglutide, yeah, GLP-1 agonist.
Yes, that's what it was. It was a GLP-1 agonist type of drug that, if those drugs start to become popular, that's going to be the new, holy shit. That's like an unbelievable because of, but anyway, sorry. That's very, very, very interesting.
No, this sounds good as well. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It does remind me. We had shortages of it here in Australia because people are using it off script for
weight loss.
For weight loss.
Because having a weight loss drug that doesn't have like severe fucking side effects or does like really weird things to your body, like I think this is one that I think it just makes you feel satiated, which is the ideal weight loss drug, right? You eat and then you're full and then you're good.
100%.
Geez, that's insane. But because seeing people start to tweak that's going to become whatever company that is. I want to invest in it because that
will go to the moon. 100%.
Absolutely, jeez. But okay, sorry, okay, and then go ahead.
I was going to say, even the ones that had pretty bad side effects, like your orlistat, which kind of prevented your fat absorption in the gut, and kind of gave people incredibly greasy stools. Even that did really well for a while.
Sure.
So I would say, yeah, I got to follow that one as well. Kind of now on a completely different topic. Have you spoken about Everything Everywhere much?
A little bit, yeah. It's like my favorite movie of all time. It's a good ass movie.
I actually I'd always been keen. I saw you rave about it, and then I kind of went into it. I then subsequently saw it 3 more times. I've taken several people to go see it. Two of them cried while watching it. I teared up, and then 2 people were just like, "What is this fucking movie?"
Yeah, wow. Those are ex friends. That's what you call them.
They are Luddites, and I do despise them.
True.
For me though, I'm kind of like wondering, what is it about it? So what I've heard you speak about is kind of a lot of, I guess, about the score, the cinematography, and all those kind of things. But in terms of the themes, it kind of seems, at least in my parasocial understanding of you, to be a little bit against what you kind of in a philosophy sense, kind of think, especially kind of the heavy kind of emphasis on the way they view relationships and things like that. So in the sense that you've spoken a lot about, I guess, relationships being transactional, would that be kind of right?
Yeah, but I don't like to ever use that term because every time I should have never ever said that in the past because the way that I say that, the way that people view it is like so far removed. Like when I say that relationships are transactional, I mean that in the sense that I think everybody views relationships as transactional. But like people view that as like, oh, okay, well, my wife gives me 1 hug, so I'm gonna buy her 2 cups of coffee, or like we're gonna do one thing. Like that's not what I meant. I just mean that like we generally give things and we get things from people, and we're like these calculation machines, and we're constantly figuring out if it's like worth it or not, right? But like part of the transaction can be like, oh, like I enjoy hanging with my friends and telling jokes to them, and they laugh and they make me feel good, and that's like part of the transaction is we enjoy each other's company because we genuinely have like this that's what I mean when I say that. But people view it as like oh, my friend bought me 1 hot dog, tomorrow I'm gonna get him half of a cheeseburger, and then he's gonna, like, that's not what I mean when I say that. Yeah, there's some sort of like emotional reciprocity and stuff. Yeah.
So what I look at that, particularly between from Wayman's perspective in that movie, it seems like he gets nothing from her, and yet in all of these universes he still wants to, spoilers for anyone if they haven't seen it yet, but well,
I think he
still wants,
he enjoys being around her. He loves her, right? It's like they have a child together. He like enjoys like doing stuff in the laundromat with her. Like I think he's like a salt of the earth, kind of like enjoys like the day-to-day struggle kind of guy.
Oh, for sure. But you kind of then I kind of wonder, is he just I guess almost not delusional, that's far too strong a word, but he really does get nothing back. Like everything seems to be there, like kind of an internal happiness there. He doesn't get anything back from her, and in fact, like it seems like even in every universe she seems to be almost exploiting him.
Well, I feel like
she seems to be the one taking from him.
I feel like where we see her in her later life, that's true. But that's part of why he was pushing for the divorce, right? But I think earlier in life, I think that they were having fun together and enjoying it, right? Because like when you see like the flashbacks, especially them like opening the laundromat and stuff, and them kind of like smiling and being together and everything.
But even opening the laundromat, she kind of has this great hesitation. She's not sharing in his joy or anything like that. I kind of this is how I took it. Yeah,
I would have to go back and check. I thought, because I know later in life she's like, "Fuck this, it sucks." But I thought early on they were really excited about it, right? Because keep in mind that she literally ran away from her family to be with him. Like she was willing to leave her whole life behind to spend her life with him. So I feel like, I feel like in the beginning it was a thing that they were both in together. But maybe I'd have to go back and like read into the laundromat stuff. Like she might have been like a little bit more cautious because he was like a little bit more like free, like, oh, like let's just do what makes us feel good and what's happy or whatever. But I think in the beginning I thought they were both more on the same page with it. But I could be wrong. I'd have to go. Yeah, I'd have to go check.
Oh, for sure. I guess I kind of take it. There's this scene where they first come into the laundromat, and he's so excited, and she's just looks like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
Sure.
This is terrible. I'm just like watching it. People point out they were doing karaoke at the start. Okay, I'll pay some of it.
Sure. I mean, it feels like, I don't know if we ever hear anything about his family, but like it feels like she came from a more conservative, like responsible family. So it would make sense what you're saying, that she was a little bit more reserved and everything about it because she came from a family where they were taught that, right? That's why her family literally abandoned her or disowned her when she left with a guy. So that would make sense, right?
Yeah, no, okay. I'll pay that to some extent.
The movie is definitely focused on her, though. I know what you mean. It seems like he's doing everything he can to support and love her, and she's not doing as much for him, maybe, at least in an emotional sense.
To the point where she stabs him, and he's still like, no, I love you. I will do anything for you. So yeah, and then the relationship. I guess you would probably fundamentally view the parent-child relationship differently. I think. Where she kind of has this almost brutal line, where she says, to paraphrase to her daughter, yeah, you are pretty fucked up, but I'll still be like, even if I could be in another universe where you're not, I'll choose to be in this one here. Where it feels like if you do have this, ultimate possibilities, why would you not choose the universe where you have a daughter who's not, who's not more messed up, who do loves you more, who you do have a better relationship with, and things like that.
I mean, I think because there's like, there's. Are you talking about a universe where he doesn't have a daughter, where she doesn't have a daughter, or where she has a better daughter? I don't know if any of the other universes are with a better daughter. Jesus, I thought the universes were either with no daughter or.
I guess I'm viewing it as in an infinite multiverse, there must be some where she has a good daughter.
Maybe. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I think my take on it would be that even if there's struggles or things that you have to go through, there's like working on those struggles is worth it to because of the reward of having your family time and everything at the end. I guess that's like the. Yeah. Have you? It's funny. I think somebody told me there was an interview where they were upset that this happened because they'd been working on this movie for so long. But have you ever seen Rick and Morty?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Oh fuck! There's an episode.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
That came out like
first season is the only good season of that show. I don't know. That Dan dude's brain was like taken, and somebody different worked on all the other seasons. I don't know what happened, but yeah, in the first season they have that interdimensional cable episode, and I think that it's like that episode is like a mini movie of that movie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there are other worlds where Jerry and Beth could have had like way better lives in every sense of the word. They would have been famous, they would have been rich, but there would have been something missing, and that thing missing would have been like the
that just reminds me that speaking about better world. The very first thing just jumping back to Wayman for a moment, the very first thing she says when she comes back from the martial arts universe is, I wish I could have shown you how good my life is without you. And again, that one just, oof. And again, maybe, that's later in life when she's built that resentment and everything like that. But to utter a phrase like that, that's the first thing on your mind is, I need you to know how good my life could have been. Again, just
Well, yeah,
don't
I mean,
know.
I think
And-
that's,
and
I
yet-
think that, I mean, but that's part of it, right? Is like she's like built up like all of this resentment against him and probably everybody in the world, right? Yeah. Because she feels like she's lost out on everything in life because of where she could have been, right? All of her dreams and hopes and everything were thrown away when she ran off with this crazy careless dude to go start a fucking laundromat.
I guess for me though, it's like Wayman kind of for me, I guess kind of represents something. I wish I could be that kind of caring and thing, but it almost feels at that point just unrealistic. I guess maybe that's just my I'm just too black-pilled there.
You might just be like not that type of person, right? Like I'm not that type of person. I could never be that type of person. But like I know there are people who've got kids that are drug addicts, who've got family members that are fucked up that like always open their doors to them, are always willing to let them come back in, always get taken advantage of. Like those types of people do exist in life, right? And they're usually getting fucked over by everybody, but
True. Yeah. And how do you view I'm not sure where you stand on kind of determinism as a general philosophy and then kind of way of moving through the world. Do you kind of ascribe to, that everything since the Big Bang is this, given a sufficiently powerful supercomputer, we could map it out and predict everything, everyone's thoughts, actions, and so on?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. So, well then, there you go, because I was going to say, how that kind of like then, when we then think about the multiverse, that kind of, for me, kind of supports that in the sense that, well, if there's infinite number of multiverses, if your life is just trash, like he says hers is, she's the worst version of herself, that's not really her fault then, is it, right?
Well, you get fault and responsibility are like very contextual words. So like it's weird to talk about determinism and then talk about like fault, right? Like it doesn't really work. It's kind of like saying like, why did Harry Potter choose to do something? And then me saying, well, because J.K. Rowling wrote it that way, obviously. Well, hold on, that contextually that doesn't make sense, right? So when you talk about like a human choosing to do something, to say, well, because determinism, I think it's like a level of context removed where it doesn't really make sense to talk about human choice in the context of determinism. Like I might say, well, obviously everything is fully predetermined, but in the same way that like a fictional character is being written in some way by an author, that's not going to be an acceptable answer for explaining why the character chose to do what they did, right?
No, for sure. And I guess that's that's the kind of the unfortunate reality that I see it as well. Is I kind of view myself as like a bit of an unwilling determinist there, in that whenever I think about it, I can't think of any other explanation for everything. But it's not a very satisfying way to live life, I guess, and things like that.
Sure.
How is it that you kind of like remedy that in your mind?
I mean, I just don't think about it. It's on the contextual level that I'm at. It's just not worth considering. Well, I mean, I'll consider it to some extent in that, like,
isn't it the kind of, I guess, almost the ultimate thing to consider?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll consider. I think there's some real life advice that can. There's some real life advice that you can do based on like these deterministic things. So I did a few dating show episodes with Dan and Erudite, and one of the things that Dan spoke about was don't put yourself in situations where you're going to make bad decisions. In a way, that's kind of like a deterministic take on human behavior. That like if given a sufficient amount of pressure externally, you're going to make a bad decision. That's a very like deterministic look at life. So I mean, like and when you talk about like criminal justice, or when you talk about like medication, or like if you're a doctor or whatever, like there are lots of things that you probably have to consider that like people will do things in this way. This is why we do these particular things. Like for instance, when you're if you're a physician and you're talking about like assigning like medication and stuff to patients, or when we're determining like what medications are effective, one of the factors that people consider are how likely is a patient to be able to remember to take it, or like how complicated is the
For sure.
yeah. So I mean, in a way, that's kind of like you're factoring in like determinism and how like people are going to make decisions, not treating them as like these free choice machines.
Yeah. No, for sure. I get, I guess, that aspect of it, but I guess I don't know. Yeah, I guess we can just like not think about it because it is ultimately unproductive, I guess. But for me, it certainly, I guess, can certainly lead to a bit of a black hole when I really start thinking about it, because like, holy fuck, like what else, what else matters? Every kind of positive thought I do have is merely kind of the product of that, universe in action, that determinist action and things like that. Which, also a quick aside to anyone thinking about watching the movie, I think is the movie does, for me, one of the greatest kind of visual representations of what depression feels like. So again, another one for people to
Wait,
see
which
people
part
in your
is
chat wonder.
which part is that?
Oh, for me, the donut in Everything Everywhere. Her once she sees that her inability to kind of look away from it, Evelyn, she's just and she talks about just and even Joy herself, just that thought of wanting to just go into it, to have to have nothing, and for there to be nothing, kind of seems is in their mind at times preferable to anything else in the world, because that's easy. That's rather than dealing with the messiness of life and everything like that.
Okay.
And at least for me, the way that was represented in her, like I said, her just like kind of infatuation with it almost. Even as she saw these positive things in her life, she still kind of was like, no, it's still there. It's always going to be there. So that was certainly powerful for me, just to jump back to that one for a moment.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I guess for me, the difficult part that I come to kind of, I guess, in the practical application of determinism, particularly, I guess, in a kind of mental health setting. And so, to preface this quite strongly, I think mental health and giving people leniency is incredibly important in a lot of aspects, and certainly historically something we've never done enough, and still don't to a lot of extent. But I guess how do we then, we kind of and again, maybe this is me being biased, but I feel like at times now we kind of get to this point where, well, let's say someone wants to exercise, and then they don't exercise, then we just say, oh, well, it's because of, X factors. They weren't motivated for this reason, or this thing got in their way, and things like that. And it almost, I guess, in some levels, never seems to leave room for self-discipline, self-determination, or anything like that. At some level, there is always a reason why someone didn't do something, and it kind of never eventuates down to their own personal motivation. And so, I guess, how does that fit in then for you? Where's that line then, I guess, between?
Have you ever seen Brittany on my stream, the Brittany Simon character?
Only very, very vaguely, not enough, no.
Okay, Brittany is, I think, the only person that I think I've ever had on my stream that talks about mental health related stuff in a way that I ultra approve of. So when Brittany talks about, I think she says she has borderline. When Brittany talks about having borderline, she always phrases it as, I have borderline, therefore I do this. So I've got borderline, so I make sure that this happens. Or I've got borderline, so I don't talk to these types of people. That when she gives when she talks about having a particular thing, she pairs that with, because I have this is the behavior that I take to remedy things. I like it when people do that, because in my opinion, if you have a diagnosis, an understanding of a problem, really should only happen if you can pair that with some sort of remedy for it, like a solution or a managing of symptoms or something, right? So I don't like it when people say things like, oh, I can't do this because of my ADHD. Oh, the reason why I failed that project was because of my ADHD. Oh, the reason why I'm such an asshole to everybody is because of my autism. Oh, blah, 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 blah. If you know what those issues are, then the reason why you're failing isn't because of those things. It's because you're not doing what you need to do to account for those things. So,
but the counter to that would be, right, that, well, I have depression. I know that, going to the gym helps me get better, but because of my depression, I can't go to the gym,
because of your depression, you've got a proclivity not to, but it's not physically keeping you from doing it, right? I think the best thing you can do is, if you have a thing, recognize it, and then try to develop strategies to account for it. Otherwise, all you are at the end of the day is a slave to, because then you could say because of anything, right? I don't go to the gym because of my depression. You could easily just say, I don't go to the gym because I'm lazy, right? I mean, technically both are valid. It's true. I am lazy. I don't go to the gym, right? And then boom, you're done. But
this is the hard line I kind of run into when thinking about this kind of from a deterministic perspective, right? Is, some people's depressions are worse than other people's, right? For example. And so if person A goes but person B doesn't, is it because that person had worse depression, or because they just lacked the intrinsic drive to do it. You know what I mean? So how?
Oh man, there's a really good. Fuck. Do you know that Scott Alexander dude? He does the Astral Star or Astral Slates Codex fucking blog or whatever.
No,
he
not
has
at all.
he has an interesting write-up where he talks about the difference between, I think, him and his brother. So he ends up going into psychiatry. I think he's a psychiatrist. I think he's he's a physician. I think he does psychology. And he talks about the difference between like him being a piano player versus his brother being a piano player, and that like different people might have different aptitudes for things, and a different aptitude might cause you to push for something a little bit harder, but because you have more success in pushing a little bit harder, it lets you push more and more and more. So like minor differences in aptitude end up expressing themselves in like major differences later on in life, just because you were a little bit more inclined to make progress at something. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So this was in the context of, you asked me like about somebody's, if somebody's a little bit more depressed, how was I going to relate that back to that? I don't remember now.
That's kind of like the inverse of that, I guess.
Yeah. Like here's how this is. So, okay. So in relation to that, this is how I view a lot of successful people in life, or people that I look up to. Okay. I think it's really cool when people succeed because of certain things, but I think most people think it's really awesome when people succeed in spite of certain things. And there are a lot of people who develop like routines, who develop habits, who develop things that even though they're in a pretty shitty spot in life, they have these disciplines or they have these ways of working themselves out of it, such that like even if they're starting from a lower place, or even if they've got other issues, like if you're accounting for these things that keep you down in different ways, like you can be way more successful than otherwise. Whereas if you use them as excuses, you can just like permanently like pigeonhole yourself into becoming less than what you ever could be, just because of the attitude, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. So like you might have somebody who's got like, I'm just arbitrarily using this. Like you might have something with like, oh, this person has like 40% depression and this person has 70% depression. And, you know, the 70% depression person could use that as an excuse to always underperform the 40% depression person. But like, if you think of it in terms of that way, like I think that anybody could theoretically use an infinite amount of excuses to never do anything. Right? Like,
oh, for sure.
Why would I bother like
against,
lifting weights when I didn't start when I was like 12? Or why would you bother learning piano if you didn't start lessons in kindergarten? Or why would you bother, with math when your parents didn't put you in honors classes when you were a kid? Or why play computer games if you weren't like playing computer games when you were 7? Like you could use that for anything, which I think is really bad.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. But let's say if we take it, let's say, two people with an equal like level, and one of them does go on, one of them does go to the gym and does get better and things like that. I feel like our view then of the other person would not to be to say, well, you lacked the motivation to do it. It would to be to say, well, maybe you weren't actually equal in the first place. Maybe your depression was at a higher level to begin with and things like that. And that's why you didn't go to the gym. That's why you didn't get better. And things like that,
this is the thing that always drives me. I think this is what should drive everybody. The only person that you should compare yourself to is yourself. The best person that you can be and the person that you were in the past. As long as you feel like you're improving over the person that you were, and as long as you feel like you're approaching like the best person you can be, then I think that's good in life, right? Like you might be the type of person that will never be the best at something, but you can be the best version of yourself at something. And to be less than that, I think is a crime against yourself, basically. But that's all you can do, right? Is be the best version of yourself that you can be given the set of circumstances that you're in. But the best version of yourself is going to be like probably 99 times better than who you are now. But that's realistically, that's all you can compare yourself to, right? Unless we're talking about like competitions where you're like actually competing against other people. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But so, like at the end of the day, like you can use like chances are if you're talking to a person like, oh, well, I can't do this because of my ADHD and I can't do this because of that and I can't do this. And I'm like, okay, well, it sounds like you're a shitty version of yourself. Like you could do way better. Like you might maybe you do have ADHD, maybe you do have these things. So maybe you're never going to be like the best at this, but you and as yourself could be way better. You could do way better, right? And
sure. So I guess your remedy to it is to say, well, okay, yeah, maybe you're not going to become champion level, to just use the gym as our example. Yeah, like maybe you're not becoming the champion level bodybuilder, but you can, given your depression or whatever it may be, you can still get fit and toned and
for
look
sure.
good. Yeah. Okay.
And you're like, the way that somebody, I don't remember who said this or who I read this from, but it's something that stuck with me for a long time. Like in 5 years is going to have passed. Like there's no way to get around that. Time is time. It always moves forward. Do you want to be like, who do you want to be in 5 years? Right? Do you want to be the person that, put in the effort to do X, Y, and Z, or do you just want to stay where you are now? That line of thought has driven me for a lot of different things that I've done. I was like, oh, this kind of sucks now, but in 5 years is going to have passed. And, would I rather have started this habit or routine now, or would I rather just, have fucked off and done nothing, So.
Yeah. So then, I guess, a very slight tangent to sport, but kind of, I guess, like flipping that kind of question around. Do you think then that the people that we do applaud for achieving great things, do you think that they are as, I guess, deserving as we give them for what they achieve?
No, not usually. No.
Okay. I would tend to agree there. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I don't know. For me, like,
some people are, but like most people are just like you're on rails. You're doing what you're doing in life. There are some people that truly overcome like really shitty situations and become great. And like, hats off to those people. And there are some people that do good things, but their life was always good. And I mean, that's good too. I don't mind people. Here's the thing. I don't mind people taking a lot of credit for things as long as they don't come down hard on people that didn't fundamentally change their life situation. Like the example I always use is like a middle class person that was born middle class, stays middle class, and dies middle class. Like if they want to give themselves props for that, like that's fine. But you can't make fun of a working class person that was born working class, stays working class, and dies working class, because they did the same shit you did. They just had a different starting point. Like both of you ran 10-mile races. They just started 5 miles behind, but you somehow think you were better than them. Like that's the only thing I don't like. So yeah, I think it's good for people to be aware of like how much shit they're getting from their environments. People like super dramatically undercount that,
Have you seen David Goggins?
Nope, I don't know even what that is.
Okay, so Dave Goggins is kind of, I guess, the ultra representation of self-discipline and things like that.
Okay.
He's running these ultra marathons, but he was born with a hole in his heart. He has asthma. Okay. Yeah, like, and he was running these marathons, and I don't know how much of this has been exaggerated. But supposedly he was running these ultra marathons, on a exercise capacity 25% of what everyone else's were. And he's become a Navy SEAL. He's basically done everything that you can in the military.
Yeah, superhuman. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, and he's when you watch these interviews with him, he's just jacked. He's like, you want to fucking do something, you fucking go and do it. Like he's just on that life. Self-determination is key 100%. He's like, he says to me, oh, Dave, like, I'm trying to run a marathon. He's like, what do you mean trying? Like, you're either going to run the marathon or you're not.
Yeah.
And so how much, I guess it's kind of like two questions there. Is like, one, do you think we have the capacity, like, does everyone theoretically have that capacity to be like, it's just a mental shift, Hell, if this fucking guy can do it, with a fucking hole in his heart, run a marathon, then I should be able to too, right? Is that,
so,
I guess,
here's
A,
like
possible, or B, realistic?
So here's a challenging thing. I had to do a lot of drugs to figure this one out. There is something that is powering us under the hood that people don't give enough credit to, and it makes a big difference in, I think, how far you can push in life. So, this is especially true in people with not aphasia. Oh God, what's the name of the anhedonia is what I'm thinking of for depression?
Yeah. Lack of pleasure.
Yeah. Some people just have these I have a really strong internal drive to like do things, to be successful, to be combative, to be, to be extroverted, to just go out and do stuff. Like I didn't do anything for that. I don't have to think about that. I don't have to wake up and be like, okay, today I gotta go. Today's gotta be the day. I'm gonna do these debates. I'm gonna start. Like I don't have to think about it. I just do it because it's enjoyable for me. So like people say like, oh, you've got a good work ethic, or oh my God, you seem so much. Like, yeah, I guess I do, but like it's fun, right? I do it because I enjoy it and because I have a drive for it. I'm not choosing to do those things every day. I imagine for people that don't naturally have those really strong drives, and like not to take anything away from the hole in the heart guy, but it sounds like he probably has a really strong internal motivating drive as well. And that seems to me to be like one of the most important fucking things you can have. And I don't know how to transfer that to somebody, right? Like my early days of streaming were unbelievable. How much weird tech I had to sift through, using encoders that were made by Japanese people, where the documentation was in languages that my fucking computer wouldn't even support. There was a lot of weird shit, but it was all fun for me. It was like really enjoyable. Like the challenge of making shit work, the challenge of getting Adobe Flash Media Live encoder, like the command line, doing the right shit to get, like that was all like super fun. But for a lot of people, that'd be really discouraging. I noticed that a little bit for, not to throw him under the bus, but I noticed that for my son, that like he gets discouraged sometimes playing games, and I think it's probably normal because most people get discouraged playing games. And I remember fighting a lot with Kyle when we would play like use map settings games in StarCraft a long time ago. Every time we played a game, I wanted to turn it up to the very hardest setting, and I wanted to lose 500 times before I got past level 1, and that felt really good to me. And those types of things, I love that. That's super enjoyable for me. It's like playing something where you lose 500 times in a row and then you beat it. But for him, he was like, dude, I'm not gonna play this with you. It's not fun. This is so stupid. Like I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying myself. Like I don't want to lose. I don't want to be stuck on level 1 forever. But in my head, I'm always like, well, fuck. Well, if you beat it and you put it on an easier difficulty, like who the fuck cares, right? So, yeah, I don't know how you for a lot of that.
So
I don't know how to.
Then comes.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of comes back to the determinism thing, right? Of well, yeah, you were born with this intense drive.
Well,
So
I don't know if I was.
then
To be clear, I don't know if I was born with it. It might have been something I got like by the time I was like 4, 5, or 6 or something, right? I don't know if I was.
Sure.
But yeah, but I didn't choose
the point
it.
is like,
yeah.
So is that then that we just kind of for me then we either have those two options, where we say, well, we just don't think about it and we assume that people do live kind of with free will and things like that and self-determination, or do we flip it back the other way and say, that's so you are able to do that because of this this internal drive that you have no control over, but at the same time, therefore, then we can't hold anyone else. I know this is to go back to the fault and accountability thing, but if someone else doesn't do it, then, well, that's not their fault, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have that same internal drive.
Yeah, I think here we have to like try to borrow as much as we can from like cognitive psychology. Like, what are the little tips and tricks you can teach people to like move them in better directions? And then maybe.
But then, sorry, just to really jump in there. But then certain people, like, if a person doesn't work with that tips or trick, again, that's not their, again, quote unquote fault, right? It's simply because that tip or trick didn't work for them. So
no, then you gotta find a new one, right? The only thing in terms of like fault, the only thing you ultimately have responsibility for is trying to do the best you can to like to try to better your circumstances. That's like all you can do. But I mean, like, obviously you can reduce that to, well, even your drive to improve your drive is like relied on some deterministic thing. But I mean, like, again, that's not worth considering as a human, right? Because we feel like we can make choices, so you might as well function in that domain. But
yeah, that's fair. And that's again kind of when I come back down to it too. It's like it's definitely not a healthy prescription for moving through the world. Then it certainly doesn't help anything. And it's kind of where I come down to it as well, for sure. Okay, check out some Dave Goggins and see what you think about just the indomitable human will and the try.
Sure.
It is truly insane watching him.
Yeah.
He is next level kind of thing and stuff like that. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine, but I mean, again, for some people, like, they just like the most important part is like the drive, and cultivating that is so hard, or maybe impossible. Hopefully not impossible, but cultivating is really hard. So other people have to rely on like other types of like cognitive psych tricks to like get themselves into that routine, because
it's certainly, I mean, it's certainly that that's kind of like the way I view it for myself is I guess kind of going back to what you said before. It's like, well, I have these proclivities. What can I do to mold my environment to ensure that I get as best an outcome as I can? And that's certainly one that I would describe to as well.
Yeah.
How much?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how much time do you have in general to chat?
I'm good for a while.
Because and I know it's cancerous, the whole vegan discussion and whatnot.
Oh shit, I'm running out of time really quickly. Sorry, what else did you have?
I just wanted to have like one really super quick question there, because look, and I don't even want to get into the whole ethics kind of side of it. More just like from the neuroscience side of it.
Sure.
So you spoke in one of your saying that animals and humans have, I guess, fundamentally different brains.
Yeah.
why do you say that? I guess this is my first.
I think that the human capacity for language seems to be something that we have evolved, that we just, even like apes and chimpanzees and shit, don't have the capacity for language that humans have. So it seems like we have like some very special thing that we've developed that sets our brains apart from every other, even semi-intelligent animal on the planet, more than dolphins, elephants, chimps, whatever.
Yep. And so then I guess, so that's, I guess, our one differentiating factor, but they do share, a hell of a lot in common with us, and I'd say, particularly relevant to kind of the vegan size, the capacity to feel and experience pain and things like that, right? And it seems like that would be the determining factor on whether to be vegan or not, right? At least in my mind.
It could be. Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to be, sure.
Yeah. Just not for you, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, there's just like a whole bunch of weird. Maybe one day I'll write all this out and then we can walk through like a truly fleshed out. But like, there's just like a lot of weird side things related to that vegan stuff. Like, let's say that we like there's an immeasurable amount of suffering and shit that would exist in the natural world that we would have no moral domain over whatsoever. Like if we say that, okay, like animals are sentient creatures and they experience pain and blah, 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 blah. And then I can watch videos of like lions, like ripping this antelope's like balls off while they eat it alive and shit. But it's like, it's okay because they're not moral agents or something. I don't know. Like there's just like, if we start to treat these things as all like, well, despite the fact that our biology has suited us towards eating them, we're going to like take an ethical step higher and say we're not going to, but then like none of them are ever held to any of these ethical standards ever. And they could actually also kill you if they wanted to, but you can't get, it's just, it gets into like, there's a lot of weird ethical questions past that. But
kind of the social contract idea that they can't enter into one with you and whatnot.
A little bit. Although, I mean, you can argue that there are like modified social contracts for slave animals, like cats and dogs that have been domesticated. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe someday I'll like write it all out if I truly want to like dive deep into the vegan shit. But for the most part, I just appeal to like these really fundamental differences in brain structure or in brain capability, I should say. I shouldn't say structure because structure wise, we're not really that different, but capabilities, there seems to be something different about like the human mind and the concept for language or the capacity for language.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like, there's the whole thing that we could go, but I know it's incredibly cancerous, I guess. But yeah, for me, because I kind of, it feels like endless gray areas in that sense of, well, we're similar in some ways, we're different in others. And, kind of if we go down that route, but then, well, sure, like then they're still hurting each other, but we're not hurting them and all those kind of things. And yeah, like, so I don't know how to pass it out for myself in my own brain, I guess. But well, we can definitely not get into that one because that does just go down, I think, like a bit of a huge rabbit hole, and certainly I've not seen them go well in the past. That's for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah, I was gonna say, was there anything else that we've like been chatting about that's been you want to touch on again or interesting or whatever?
No, not that I can think of. It's gonna be really weird if in 30 years everybody's a normal weight because we found drugs to make everybody lose weight. That's gonna be a really interesting world, but.
Actually, sorry. This right. Another question.
Yeah.
This is one very, very tangent, and a bit to determinism and whatever.
Okay.
Do you think if you were to take a person from today, raised in today, and all those kind of things, plop them back into, I don't know, whatever the year was, but when slave owning was legal and normalized, do you think that person would, maybe not immediately, but given say 5-10 years, be chill with owning slaves?
Yeah, 100%. I think that most of human like stuff is on rails. Like we think what the people around us think, we act the way the people around us act, our morals and ethics, and even our epistemologies. Like everything is just kind of absorbed from the people around us. That's just normally how humans work. We're very social creatures. So yeah, I think that would definitely happen. Yeah. Everybody likes to imagine they'd be like the outsider or the leader and all that shit. But I mean, like there's mountains of psych evidence, there's mountains of real world empirical evidence that like people just aren't these independent fact machines. They're very much like slaves to the thoughts and ideas of others around them.
Does that ever worry you?
Well, no, because I am truly an independent thinker, so.
Right, but you're in this society of savages that could turn on you at any moment, right?
Good. I hope they do.
Well, I guess they have turned on you often, so fuck me.
True.
Right?
I'm ready for it.
I guess, yeah, so I guess I just, again, kind of come back to that. I don't know. This is kind of a bit of a cyclical argument now, I guess. Yeah, it's like, well, can we really be can we really applaud our progress as humanity, or even applaud individuals' progress when, it all seems to be this thing that's completely out of our control? And if anything, yeah, each individual's actions are only a product of their environment and things like that. So are we just all fundamentally evil creatures, I guess? Nah, evil's too strong a word.
We just
but
have to recognize that we're products of our environments, and we have a little bit of wiggle room in there to try to be the best we can be. There's like an interesting line off of there's a prog rock band called Pain of Salvation, and they've got an album called B, and in one of the songs, Daniel Gildenlow, the writer, he kind of makes fun of humans thinking that they're ultra intelligent today because we use computers and cell phones. But then he remarks that if you were to put somebody like in front of a bunch of the components of a light bulb and then try to have them, put a light bulb together, like 99% of humans couldn't do it. So the idea that we're these ultra intelligent beings compared to the savages of the past is not true. There's just like a lot of collective social intelligence that passes on from one generation to the next. So yeah, I mean, I think we are largely products of our environments and our social networks. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that does definitely like fuck me up when I start thinking about how, and that's just becoming worse and worse as time goes on. The kind of like the level of technological complexity that we're further and further removed from, and in so dependent on as well. That certainly kind of worries me. When I think about, we just see the crazy crap that goes on with Elon currently, and whether Twitter just implodes and there's something that a lot of people use for, I guess, livelihood or whatever it may be, and things like that. Yeah, I guess it's more of a comment than anything else. Yeah. Yeah, I actually have to dash off myself. I just realized because it's in the morning here and I have to go to work soon.
Okay, well,
but
good luck.
It was a good chat.
Yeah.
I thought.
Stay safe. Be careful. Don't run into any kangaroos on your way to work. Okay.
No, we ride them, man. It's all good.
All right. Well, have fun. I'll see you later.
All right. Cool.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
That dude was hitting the Benjamin hard. That guy's halfway to Blinkerton. Can you tell? Okay, I don't think this is realistic that I can clear this planet. Or I could, but I think it's literally going to take me 20 hours to do it. So do I just leave Novice fucked until I have the ultimate Benjamin, that tier 4 bio research? Or if I could clear this planet, it would be so helpful to never have to worry about these stupid alerts. I have 20 hours if you do. Let's begin. Like, it's gonna, like, the map goes, like, really far west, I think, right? Wait, hold on. If you're gonna steal this meme, at least play his clip.
And yeah, I'm about to get completely obliterated in a hole, you feel me? Make sure you guys give this video a like, comment down below, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, follow me on all my social medias at the top. And yeah, I love every single one of you guys, you feel me? By the end of the year, I'm about to get 500,000 subscribers. I'm so grateful to do this shit every single day, Yodi family. Let's get faded in a hole, shall we? Shall we? About to take a trip to Benjamin City, shall we? Cheers, my friends.
Damn, what's good, Yodi land?
That shit's smacking harder than a hoe, you feel me? I got some important things to tell you in this video, you feel me? Right now, I'm just in the heart of Yodi land. I never came to this Yodi land location before, you feel me? But it's already a classic, you feel me? Shit is already a classic. Look at the beautiful vibes. Beautiful.
This feels like every Midwestern fucking suburban area ever.
Vibes, bro. I'm absolutely obliterated than a hoe. Need I say more? Need I say more?
What's happening with Nick? Why is he considering not coming to the no jumper debate? He probably feels like he's riding high on the Trump yay shit, so he might just skip because he doesn't want to look bad.
I don't get my way. Listen, I don't get my way. You better start shooting me right now. What I tell you? What I tell you? What I tell you? I'm a
Why are people mad?
60-year-old baby. I don't get my way. Listen, I don't get my way. You better start shooting me right now. What I tell you?
This is like the nicest. Didn't hit the guy in the face, kicked him in the stomach, didn't hit him while he was down. This is like the nicest way to put somebody down.
I don't get my way.
He's 60 years old? Oh, well.
I don't right now. What I tell you? What I tell you? What I tell you?
Sounds like you need a caretaker. You'll have one now. Apparently that is a mentally challenged dude who is well known to the club. Oh, well. Not anymore. Not anymore. Now he's faded in a hoe. Hold on one sec. Nah. Sorry, guys. Had to take a quick trip to Benjamin City.
But that's simply not possible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
I don't get it. Calculate it. It's 275. What's the joke?
But that's simply not possible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
The joke is 550 divided by 2 equals 225 looks better. What? Because at a glance it is 225? No, it's not. Well, how is it at a glance 225? 500 divided by 2 is 250 at least. It's like when you add 33 and 77, you feel that it's 100? Do you feel that way? Do you feel like 33 and 77 is 100? Am I? Okay, I don't know. Okay. Get a 900 to prove you didn't just go to Blinkerton? Bro, even if I was in Blinkerton, I could pull 900s. Wait, did I just close that whole fucking window? Okay, sorry.
Something is off about this.
Hold on, bro.
FTX tried.
Bro. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me just prove to this dude. This guy's faded in a hoe. Okay, here we go. What? Shut up. Go to Blinkerton. What? Oh no. No. Yeah, that was... Oh, I didn't even hit the button here. Nice. Nope, that was a bad strat. No. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, back to this vid.
To hide billions of dollars in fraud, and now their ex-CEO Sam Bankman-Fried is trying to convince everyone it was an accident. He isn't such a bad guy, he just got in over his head. And already there are financial commentators like Kevin O'Leary willing to vouch for him.
I just think he's a very interesting individual. Over time, we'll peel this onion, find out what happened. I don't think that guy has an evil bone in his body.
Now, it may not surprise you, but Kevin O'Leary is a paid spokesman for FTX. But even unpaid sources have parroted his claims. Take, for instance, the New York Times. They quote SBF saying he was just distracted and that's why FTX fell apart. Quote, had I been a bit more concentrated, that would have allowed me to catch on to what was going on the risk side. That's right, guys. If he only hadn't played League of Legends, he might have noticed he was stealing customer money. Now, of course, the New York Times was roasted for their uncritical take on Sam, as was Kevin O'Leary. But even respected financial journalists that I personally like Matt Levine of Bloomberg, have recently floated theories around that maybe this is fraud, but maybe not. Quote, I don't want to minimize the likelihood of intentional fraud and theft, but I want to say that the story of FTX also reads like what would happen if you and a few college friends set up a gigantic international financial exchange. Your friends are traders and engineers, not accountants and compliance officers. They're running a huge exchange and are too busy for paperwork. They move fast and break things. Now, stories like that, to me, leave me wondering, well, was this fraud at all? Or was it just a couple of college grads who didn't know the value of an accountant? Could be either one, right? And I want to address this, not because anyone in the media specifically believes that Sam isn't a fraudster, besides Kevin O'Leary probably, because of course there are plenty of legal reasons not to explicitly call someone a fraud. But I still think it's relevant to address these ideas and narratives either way, because you can be certain this is going to be SBF's defense. He may have been dumb, he may have been negligent, he may have made some mistakes, but he isn't a criminal. He already came out and said it once. I effed up twice. But instead of mentioning fraud, he says it's because of poor internal labeling that FTX fell apart, which I mislabel things all the time. And in a way, that's a compelling, simple explanation. Don't attribute to malice what you can attribute to stupidity. Or in this case, don't attribute to fraud what you can attribute to a polycule of 20-year-olds in the Bahamas getting in over their heads. That is basically what he wants you to believe. And so I'm here to answer that question. Could it possibly be that FTX is just a story of negligence? Well, the short answer is no. And the long answer is hell no.
Damn.
Since FTX unraveled, I've been speaking to Alameda insiders, FTX insiders, even people who called out FTX months ago, like short seller Mark Cohodes. And the one thing I'm positive of after all of it is that Sam is probably the greatest con man of our generation. The only real question I have is why did it take us so long to find this out? Now, as I share the evidence that supports this claim, bear in mind, compiling a complete post-mortem on FTX is admittingly difficult. A paper shredder leaves behind better evidence than Sam Bankman fraud. Sorry, I mean freed. Well, not freed for long. He's going to probably be in jail soon. But until that sweet day arrives, just understand that I don't have the full story yet. Nobody does. Even the people who have full access to the back-end evidence are still puzzled. In fact, the main person tasked with handling the FTX bankruptcy process also handled Enron, which is the definition of complicated corporate fraud. So you'd think it'd be no big deal, right?
Right?
Nope.
Wrong.
FTX is worse than Enron.
Damn.
Quote, never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls.
Oh my God.
Not only that, he says that everything he got from SBF in the way of evidence, he has, quote, no confidence in, which, isn't great. This is probably because A, Sam has lied, and B, it sounds like everything in his empire was a mess.
Wild.
Allegedly, FTX was approving expenses with, quote, personalized emojis, and that Sam was communicating with disappearing messages that were set to auto-delete after, quote, a short period of time. Not only that, Sam encouraged employees to do the same. So understand that we don't have a full picture of what happened yet, in part because, well, they deliberately avoided leaving one. And I would actually point to this as the first piece of evidence of fraud. You don't show up to the scene of a crime with billions missing and find out all the evidence is destroyed and say, oh darn, maybe they accidentally torched it. No, that in of itself is suspicious. And deleting your text messages and encouraging your employees to do the same, that just screams that you're hiding something. But even though they didn't leave us much to go on, there's still tons of breadcrumbs that lead us to the same conclusion. For example, take the corporate structure of FTX and all their subsidiaries. We've talked about this. It's incredibly complicated, but I'm supposed to believe that the guy who set this up is the same guy who didn't know it was wrong for him to take from one company and steal it. Isn't this the same guy whose parents are both compliance lawyers, sticklers for the rules?
Whatever happened to the Shkreli rug pull? He pulled it.
You're telling me that guy doesn't understand what basic fraud is? Incidentally, this is actually why Kevin O'Leary thought this was such a safe bet.
I'm a paid spokesperson to FTX and a shareholder there too. And big advocate for Sam because he has two parents that are compliance lawyers. If there's ever a place I could be that I'm not going to get in trouble, it's going to be at FTX.
Yikes. And yet, even after being defrauded, Kevin says given the chance, he'd bet on Sam again.
If SPF knocked on your door again and said, look, I failed in my last venture. I have a new crypto venture. I need money. Would you back him?
That's a great question. No one's asked me yet. I think we can all admit, you can love him or hate him given what's happened, but he was one of the most brilliant traders in the crypto universe. He also built one of the most robust platforms. We used FTX actively. It was a very robust platform that allowed us to get information on a compliant basis. So I really like what he built.
Would you back him?
The answer would be yes.
Based.
Aiden.
Yeah.
Can you try coming back?
What the fuck? No!
Aiden.
This is the fake. It could have been funny, but why was it so fake? Why would you make it so fake? This video is so old.
Get the fuck down! Fucking jump! Jump! Get the fuck down from there! Fucking jump! Jump! Up here. Up here. What the fuck are you looking at? Don't fucking run away from me! I'll end you! Where'd you fucking go? Fuck! Get the fuck outside! Run! You fucking piece of shit! I'm going to rape you!
Unbelievable. I don't understand how these people can't admit they were fooled by SBF and just end up making fools of themselves. Now, there's another part of this story I want to talk about, which was, of course, the revelation that FTX, the exchange, and Alameda Research, the trading firm, were actually sharing customer funds. And there's been some talk of, well, maybe this was just a lack of compliance or accounting. But I want to suggest to you that SBF was not lacking anything. He purposely and deliberately profited from the vague relationship between Alameda and FTX. And the first sign of this was when I spoke to an insider at Alameda. He told me that they would often use insider knowledge of the coins that were going to be listed on FTX, and then they would go buy those coins up, knowing that it would pump in price when it was finally...
That's got to be mega ultra illegal, right? There's no way that can be okay.
Listed. In other words, an easy profit could be made. This, by the way, is similar to what happened on Coinbase, and 3 people were arrested for insider trading in that case. But unlike Coinbase, this wasn't...
But it's crypto, not regular security, so maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know.
Rogue employees. This was Alameda itself doing this. So let me get this straight. If it was criminal when 3 individuals did it, what does it mean when an entire organization does it? I even asked the Alameda insider if they thought that it was criminal behavior, and they told me, quote, it was probably criminal in hindsight. Yeah, you know about the 2020 of hindsight. Sometimes you realize, wow, that was probably illegal. Now, this insider evidence is actually further validated by public reports that Alameda Research amassed swaths of tokens ahead of FTX saying it would list them, according to an analysis of public blockchain data. This is from the Wall Street Journal, and it just corroborates this insider testimony. There's insider trading going on at Alameda. So do you think someone, Sam, who is doing criminal activity is going to want a bunch of accountants and compliance people sniffing around? No. They're going to want criminals hanging around them. So with that said, and completely unrelated, guess who FTX chose as their chief regulatory officer? This guy, Dan Friedberg. Now, Dan's past is very important because he used to work for Ultimate Bet, a poker site which got in a lot of trouble and has a very shady past for reasons we've explained before.
Ultimate Bet got in trouble because they were giving some of their players a God mode that allowed them to see the other players' cards, which would obviously be an advantage if you're trying to play poker.
Wow. So Friedberg was working for Ultimate Bet during these God mode days. And although he was never charged with anything, there is leaked audio coming out from him conspiring to hide the owner of Ultimate Bet from facing any consequences from using it. Here's Russ Hamilton, the former owner of Ultimate Bet, who used God mode and admits to making money with it, telling Friedberg that he wants to get out of this cheating scandal.
I feel, and I did take this money, and I'm not trying to make it right, Dan, so we got to get that out of the way real quick, okay?
So then Dan Friedberg replies to Russ that maybe they should just blame it all on a third-party consultant and say that was who used the God mode on their website instead of Russ himself.
I think for the public, it just has to be former consultant, the company, took advantage of a server flaw by hacking in the client, and able to identify exactly when sometimes he played with it, sometimes he played without it. Sometimes he intentionally won, and sometimes he intentionally lost.
Based.
Very erratic play.
True.
But we've been able to identify the times when the tool was up and their net wins. And that's what it is.
And what you could also say is that the tool was originally set for a 15-minute delay.
And he hacked
it to a real time.
I think that's what we do.
So this is the guy they hired at FTX as their chief regulatory officer, a guy who once conspired to hide his cheating boss. And of course, there are more red flags about the relationship between FTX and Alameda. You might assume that, like, okay, if it was negligence, maybe everyone inside the organization was just sharing information with everyone. There was no walls in place, right? And that's what created the conflicts of interest. But that doesn't match with what we've heard. I personally have spoken to FTX insiders who said they were blindsided by the collapse. They didn't know anything. The Wall Street Journal also reports that FTX employees were completely in the dark, which corroborates that. So FTX employees had no idea what was going on at Alameda. Meanwhile, the Alameda employees, on the other hand, knew exactly what was going on at FTX. They had back-end access. So this relationship wasn't uncontrolled, it was one-sided. Back to the God mode analogy, it was almost as if they specifically set up their crypto exchange to be pilfered by their traders without anyone knowing. Almost like they had a back door. Oh yeah, they did end up building a back door. I forgot, their CTO built a back door to avoid triggering red flags. See, it's hard to call things like this accidents or negligence. It's literally designed to be hidden. Alameda had a one-way window into FTX to steal whatever they wanted from client funds, and I do mean steal, not misappropriate, not negligently lose, steal. But unbelievably, the way it's quoted in like the New York Times, you'd think this was some kind of loan they took out. A margin position, it's called. But we know now it wasn't a margin position. Alameda apparently had a secret exemption from certain aspects of FTX.com's auto liquidation protocol, according to their new CEO. So this large margin position isn't a margin position at all, because they could never be liquidated. And I'm sure Dan Friedberg might be somewhere on a call trying to figure out how to blame a rogue employee on this secret exemption. But let's be honest with ourselves. Alameda knew what they were doing was criminal. That's why they call it a secret exemption. And they were even willing to lie about it to keep it a secret. Alameda CEO, Caroline Ellison, denied special access to Bloomberg News, saying, "We definitely have a Chinese wall in terms of information sharing to ensure that no one at Alameda would get customer information from FTX or any sort of special treatment from."
Your Twitter account's made so many people seethe. The funny part is going to be watching all these lefty dipshits that are like, I'm leaving Twitter and I'm coming, or and I'm going away. I'm leaving Twitter. I'm never coming back, blah, blah, blah. But you know they're going to be back, right? This app has been so much better with Destiny gone. Why is this fucking loser still tweeting about me? They're so mad that they got blown the fuck out over. I'm trying to think of what take it was that actually like triggered this person into fucking oblivion. Was it when I think they defended Hassan calling a gay person a fag, unironically. I think they defended it, and then they got super triggered when people called them out on it. This guy's a fucking loser. Yeah. Wasn't that the guy who did it? No, not initially. Oh, also, hey, just because I am keeping a list of all the people that Max reaches out to, just because I like to know, you don't have to tell me also. If Mr. Girl reaches out to you because he wants to chat, to interview you about my abuses or whatever, feel free to shoot me a message and just let me know. I'm curious. Okay.
FTX. But obviously, this was a lie. Here's Sam Bankman-Fried lying too. Quote, Alameda is a wholly separate entity. Well, we know that isn't true either. Looking back, it was obvious because even when you'd wire them money to FTX, the international wiring instructions were to Alameda Research.
Ya Allah.
Not exactly separate. And so after finding all of this out, I spoke to Mark Cahotis, who called out SBF as a fraud much earlier than almost anyone else. And I asked him his thoughts, and he said this was all obvious a mile away.
I knew something was wrong a year ago because everything this guy said, and you can play all his interviews back, nothing added up. You know, nothing added up. If people ask me a question, I will give them an answer or say, I don't know. I won't talk in a figure eight. You know, I won't answer a question with a non-answer again and again and again. Nothing this guy said has ever made a lick of sense. And if he would have come to my office looking for money, I would have told him to hit the bricks because nothing added. I mean, they didn't even figure out that his accountant's address was somewhere in the metaverse. I mean, at a minimum, you check out who the guy's auditor is and say, who's your auditor? Oh, my auditor's name is the Pep Boy, Manny, Mo, and Jack. Okay, what's his address? Somewhere in the metaverse. Is this a joke? No, I'm being serious.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Surely that can't be true that the auditor of FTX was located in the metaverse.
Surely.
But checking their official bankruptcy filings, that is the case. And now, because no one looked into it, FTX owes $3.1 billion to its top 50 creditors alone. And I guess if they have complaints, they can go to the metaverse and ask about it. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. I actually don't think they probably take complaints in the metaverse. Either way, the question of was Sam Bankman-Fried a fraud is not much of a question at all. The real question is, why did so few people catch on early, and why didn't the media catch on sooner? I'm not sure. We can speculate. Maybe it was because of political donations or this whole story about effective altruism. But ultimately, what I know for sure is that people like Mark Cahotis, they weren't silent. He says he took it to journalists before the crash to see if they'd do anything, and they said no.
I went to Bloomberg with my pal who I was working.
441 out of 746 people in your Reddit community think that your weakest position is your stance on veganism. As an outsider, wouldn't you think that Destiny ignores the topic because his arguments suck? The problem is that the veganism argument is this. This is the veganism argument, and it's really hard to beat. Animals look cute and cuddly, and I don't want them to hurt because it feels bad. That is the vegan argument. And it's hard to overcome that because people have like cats and dogs and shit like, oh, well, these things are cute and cuddly and blah, blah, blah. But like, I mean, like, that's it. That's the extent of the argument. And I mean, I don't care if people use that argument. My only issue is usually if people are like huge fans of like dogs and cats, but they eat cows and shit, that usually triggers me. But yeah, I mean, listen, if you want to be vegan, knock yourself out, go for it. But to try to say that there's like this huge, amazing, like ethical argument or this huge compulsion for it, when like our entire existence and the existence of this planet is a little bit like built around this idea of like eating animals, is just a little strange. There's just like a lot of weird things you run into to try to make it sound like this is the way that like ethically we ought to be. It's just kind of, it's a weird setup, I think. But Destiny, that's such a straw man. I mean, like, you can call it not a straw man, but there's a reason why like the fucking PETA videos are like the things that are usually what convince people to end up going over to the vegan side. But
on this thing with, and we laid it out to five ladies on the crypto team, And they passed, and they said it would be too much work. We'd lose access. It's bad for business, right?
Does a successful business need accountants or auditors? Yeah, of course.
On us if we ask these questions. Well, at least I had the questions.
Wait,
I don't have a
Bloomberg
PR firm.
denied a story with you because they thought it would lose them access and it was too much work?
Yes, 100%.
When did this happen?
This happened in July. This happened in early July. They had everything. They had everything.
Wow.
They also said, but I didn't want anyone fired. I didn't want anyone fired, so I didn't give them this. They said it was bad for business, i.e. advertising.
You're kidding. So they admit their conflict of interest with advertisers in the crypto space.
Yes.
Now, this is...
Does he really do interviews like this where he's like screaming?
Pretty shocking allegations. So I did want to reach out to Bloomberg for comment to see if they wanted to respond to this. And here's what they said.
Based. And? Problem? Oh, that's the end of the video. Cute. Okay. All right. Quieter than a hoe. True.
This channel. On the surface, Kate Yup is a thriving mukbang content creator who has amassed over 1.5 million subscribers. Kate Yup only has 30 videos spread out over 5 years on YouTube. All of her videos reach millions of views, but other famous mukbangers adhere to a strict upload schedule in order to maximize profit and engagement. In a relatively short time span, she rose to infamy due to the odd nature of her behavior, never showing her face or surroundings. But just being anonymous can't explain this level of success. Maybe it's the ASMR element. I guess nothing's better than some... It could be the challenge aspect, speed running through all the food in front of her. Or is it something insidious lurking behind each upload? Subreddits, blogs, conspiracy theories, and even her own comments have speculated that she is being forced to make these videos against her will. Taking a closer look, there are patterns and behaviors that could legitimize some of these claims. And without any convincing responses from Kate herself, her audience is left to believe the worst. Her first video on April 23rd, 2018 depicts her eating 11 pounds of salmon. To put this into perspective, 11 pounds of salmon is roughly 10% of a grizzly bear's daily diet. If any of you have a big appetite, you're gonna wanna make sure you're getting the highest quality ingredients and food possible, which is why today's video is sponsored by Thrive Market. Thrive Market is an online, membership-based grocery store on a mission to make healthy living easy and affordable.
Does this guy sound a little bit like Moist Critical? Am I crazy?
For everyone. My biggest problem when it comes to grocery shopping is how much time it takes out of my day. Not only will Thrive Market save you time from going to the grocery store, it can also help you cut down your grocery bill by about 30%. You can shop for thousands of the best-selling organic foods and natural products below traditional retail prices. Thrive Market carries the highest quality grocery essentials, eco-friendly cleaning supplies, non-toxic beauty items, supplements, organic kids products, wine, sustainably sourced meat and seafood, and much more. Whether you're gluten-free, vegan, or keto, you can shop by over 90 diets and values. Thrive Market products are good for you and the planet. Orders over $49 are shipped free and delivered with carbon-neutral shipping and from their zero-waste warehouses. The company's Thrive Gives initiative makes it possible for low-income families, teachers, and veterans to access natural, high-quality organic foods easily. For every paid annual membership, Thrive Market donates a free membership to someone in need. With my membership, I was able to save $24 on my favorite snack, which are chomps. Whether you're looking to save time or money or just source amazing items, a Thrive Market membership is for you. Head on over to thrivemarket.com/Philion or just click the link down below to receive a free $60 gift. And thank you to Thrive Market for sponsoring this video. Over the next 18 months, her mukbangs would progressively get bigger and bigger, but prior to any real answers for her erratic behavior, She disappeared off of YouTube. Both normal viewers and conspiracy theorists were left to speculate whether or not she was okay and the truth behind her channel. After all, if you've amassed such a big audience, it's rare just to disappear off the face of the earth and not upload. It seemed no one would ever find an answer until this month on October 7th, 2022, when Kate Yup posted again. Before we talk about her videos and where these theories come from, it's better to try and understand Kate Yup. For starters, no one knows who she is. She has never shown her face or much of her surroundings. However, there are some details and facts that help us paint a better picture of who or where she is. It's believed that she lives in France or is French, because her first video was posted with French text in the description box, and she speaks English with a seemingly broken French accent.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't paying much attention to this. There was a theory really early on, oh god, with a couple of the ASMR girls, that people thought that some of these people were literally like Eastern European slaves that were being like locked up and forced to YouTube channels. Has that ever been the case, that evidence has come out where that is true? Wait, like where oh, actually, do you remember when fucking I don't know if you guys remember this, but does anybody remember when there was a really big streamer on Twitch called Amaranth made a claim that her husband was abusive and made her do like weird like booby stuff and everything? Do you remember how we all just, that kind of like came and went and everybody completely forgot it? Even though she made streams, she's like, oh, I can finally wear sweaters and stuff again and blah, 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 blah. And now she's like back to doing hot tub streams like every single day. Kind of weird how that like came and went and nobody has any questions. Isn't that kind of weird? But you know.
People online claim she is one of several missing women, such as Carly Lane Goose, a California teen on the FBI missing persons list since 2018. Others speculate she is Joanna Jędrzejczyk, a former professional MMA fighter and Muay Thai kickboxer from Poland. The most compelling identity for Kate Yup is the woman pictured here.
Qrvc explained that by using Google Images, she found a Facebook photo posted by a French male individual who had tagged someone else in the photo named Kate Yup. Toya explained that the girl in the photo was wearing the same rings as Kate Yup.
Now in the photos, when I zoomed in on her fingers, it had the ring. She wears these rings in her mukbangs that, you know, when she eats, you can see them in the camera, and I'll include screenshots.
And compared the hair color, facial structure, and general stature as being almost identical. Suspiciously, the photo posted to Facebook tagging Kate Yup has since been removed by the business.
The weird thing is, when you look at Kate Yup's responses, you can almost believe she, or whoever is behind the channel, is not a woman. A good amount of her descriptions start with, I am a girl. That's not entirely strange, but in her replies to viewers, she often describes herself in the third person. Perhaps this is just a language barrier. After all, English is not her first language. But there's more evidence that she isn't the only one around. When it comes to her identity, no one is certain, and it will probably stay a mystery. But to be honest, her identity pales in comparison to the larger mystery surrounding Kate Yup. On the surface, her videos may be considered regular mukbang content, but for someone her size, no, you know what? It doesn't matter. The amount of food she eats is alarming. Additionally, viewers believe she is being forced to eat within a certain amount of time, and that there's some hidden motivation behind these videos. Kate has acknowledged her viewers' concerns and, in broken English, states, quote, I have any health problem. My metabolic system has adapted, in almost every description, which I guess is her way of saying, I'm fine. I just think she forgot the don't. She also seems to look up and away at times, jerking her head in one direction like she's acknowledging someone off camera. This all starts to make sense when you listen closely to the footage. In Kate's video titled 4-hole aloe vera leaf, there are different timestamps when an assumed male's voice can be heard giving Kate instructions. Hurry up, just eat, fast, I'll kill you. Shuffling and faint voices can be heard behind the camera, and you may even hear another person breathing. Is there some man hiding behind the camera, forcing Kate to devour food on YouTube for money? Could this be some sick man's fetish? In this case, it would explain the "I am a girl" clarification in almost every description. Is the context needed for the fetishization from the viewer's standpoint? Maybe some people wouldn't watch it unless she explicitly stated that she's a woman. It is speculated that she is being coerced by an unknown individual to eat as fast and as much as humanly possible. By extension, many people online believe that this anonymous person is abusing her. In some of her videos, she can be seen with bruises on her arms and hands, as well as what looks like to be a bruise or sore on her mouth.
Okay, I don't know why we're watching this. I don't know what the point of this was. The Mama Max video was more entertaining. I don't know how I want to draw my lanes off to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 2 full. Latest ABBA meme.
Is she pregnant?
She showed up pregnant to a date. Is this the reason you don't like them? What is this? Why?
But you're a classical liberal in that sense, because even though we did.
Hold on 1 second. You gonna watch Mr. Girl answer Smeth's questions? Fuck no. I'm good on that shit. 1 second. Anybody else want me to pass the Benjamin? You're not getting any.
That's why he slapped the fuck out. Hey, bam!
I'm Precious.
I'm Frank.
We decided to open our relationship about 3 to 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was tricky at the time. We had different ideas of what a open relationship was, right? So
I kind of just want a friend that we could like be more than friends, I guess.
For both of you, what is the best outcome of this experience today?
take
Jesus.
someone back to our hotel. That's around the corner. No, I'm just
Going on a date with someone.
Going on a date with someone. Me after Rob Hedge, me pom pom.
Just let you guys know he's not playing.
No, he's not playing.
Because
There's not 1 ounce.
He's trying to fuck left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And she's trying to bring a third person in. I kind of want to have a friend that we can both get to know. He's like, man, I'm trying to fuck bitches on the side. We gonna get in my way talking about get to know these hoes. Bro, I thought I was gonna get to fuck everybody like Fresh and Fit told me, and she was just gonna wait at home in her fucking apron and some buns out. You feel me?
What's she looking for? She looking for another girl, or she looking for a guy to get like, yo, sit in the corner and Rob Hedge, me pom pom, ya ear. Is that what you looking for? On the side, you touch your little cocky your ear, and you not touch me. But I'm gonna get ravaged. If she wants to get ravaged by another dude, I don't know.
Good for her.
Hi.
Pulling 2 lines directly off the bus? Yes.
Hi. I'm Precious.
Jazz.
Nice. Beautiful.
I'm Lucy.
Beautiful.
Talia.
Hi, Talia. Jasmine. Precious.
Mary.
Precious. I'm Maya. Yes. Hi, Jordan.
Jeez.
Hi.
Hi, bye.
Steel glass. plastic bars.
bye.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Why are they introducing themselves? Megan, this whole process is worse.
I don't know, bro.
Here's my name so you can remember after I give you this. L-W. Bye.
Dub.
Precious. Hi.
Love.
Precious. Bye. Precious. Hi. Precious. Bye. Precious. Hi. Precious. Bye. Precious. Hi. Precious. Go get it. Precious. Go by. Precious. Go get it. Precious. Go high.
Bye.
Precious. Precious.
Hi, bye.
Girl, you thought you was precious, but you ain't. So you gotta go bye-bye. Hi. And now
What are
you
we
know
doing?
you're not really precious.
Bye. Anyways,
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Even though, yeah, pretty good. Your beatboxing was better than my bars.
It's fine.
But I appreciate you.
It's fine.
Thank you. Thank you for being the canvas I could paint on.
It's fine.
Even though the painting's doo-doo, the canvas is beautiful.
Doodle brown.
I mean, you know what? I think the painting was precious. You feel me?
It's okay. You got other bars. It's fine.
Hi, Dominique. Hi, King.
You're not gonna lie, these women are busted.
Jesus.
I was thinking.
Nah, bro.
Hi, I'm Jazz.
He slapped her. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. He slapped her. You can bring that shit back. Black top, big t-shirt, Billie Eilish. Bring that shit back. Why? Is she pregnant? That's why he slapped the fuck out. Wait. Ask him by it the first time I saw that shit, and I was like, nah. I decided to not see it. And he slapped her. That's why he slapped. He slapped your kids. He's paying that motherfucker before that motherfucker was out.
Her, nah. They definitely nah.
This shit out of context is foul.
Hey, listen. I'm down for threesomes, not foursomes. Why is little nigga here?
Imagine this nigga coming out like this, out her belly. You the nigga that was bumping my head.
What's up, Dan? Oh, it ain't you? Yo, you know what'd be crazy? If she popped, I was like, oh, fuck, why my baby mama show up? Bitch, get out of here. I already said no. Why you following me, damn nigga? That's all the dudes out here having sex with pregnant women who aren't their girls or wives is weird as fuck to me. I'm not trying to be stigmatizing nobody, but there's something really weird about me pumping a girl full of something and then something kicking me back. Like, nigga, it's crowded in here already. Like, I don't know, that's just weird to me. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes I'm trying to fuck this shit, but sometimes you're kicking me back.
No, I'm not even gonna give you that one.
Go ahead.
It's time for us to pontificate.
Okay, let's pontificate.
Let's say she pregnant.
Okay, let's say she pregnant.
And let's say both of them are pro-life, but they're about to fuck. Meaning they say it's a baby at conception. Like once it's in the womb, it's a baby. It's not a fetus. It's a human life deserving protection.
Yeah. I know where you're going. They diddling kids.
Ain't that shit illegal? I'm just asking. In what scenario can you fuck with your child? Then?
Wow. We understood, nigga. You didn't have to put it like that.
Just think about it.
Shit. Now you got like motherfuckers with images in their head.
Yeah, I just want you guys watching at home. If you guys do this shit and you're pro-life, you're diddling kids.
See, always focus on the negative.
No. The positive. The positive is I'm trying to keep them out of jail.
No, that's some negative.
You going to jail now?
That's some negative that should be focused on.
No, that's not negative. I don't think so. Because the girl probably told me, like, no white women. I ain't with that shit. Because you see the way he reluctantly did it?
Yeah.
Sorry, my girl's not going to like you. Hold on, let's see if he accepts her. I don't think he's going to accept her either.
You pretty.
Ooh.
Very beautiful. Ooh.
You got some huge titties.
Titties, yes.
You got some tickle bitties. You look like you could substitute for my milk.
This nigga said tickle bitties.
Got something I could lick underneath, you feel me? That's when you know she got big knockers. When you can lift them bitches up her, put it over your head and go. One of them that acts like an ear muffler, but you can also lift it.
God damn, bro.
The under titty, when there's a lot of real estate, that's some shit right there. What?
Nothing.
You ain't never been no big old titties?
These are your matches. These are the people you both swiped yes on. I'm gonna give you guys a chance to bring back one person that was eliminated if you feel really strongly that they should be here. So you guys get one safe to agree upon.
The anime girl.
She had really curly hair.
That's your pick.
Yeah.
Bring her back.
Okay.
What's up,
Hi,
Jack?
y'all.
How are
Hello.
you?
Hello.
How are you?
Hello
I'm
again.
Jasmine.
Precious.
Nice to meet you,
Friend.
Jasmine. Nice to meet you.
Okay. I'm gonna say something that's pretty mean.
Uh-oh.
But I really believe.
Uh-oh.
I noticed that the people who are into like open relationships and polyamory and all this other stuff are like generally pretty ugly.
This is true of like all like kink BDSM stuff generally, or they don't like look conventionally attractive.
I have no data.
Like sometimes you go to like these parties or like these BDSM stuff, and like a lot of people present are nasty looking.
Oh shit! Wait, why doesn't
wrong?
it split
I don't
the?
know.
But that's your department. You have a whole podcast where you celebrate these
I
people.
don't go to fucking parties.
You don't go there and celebrate them in person?
You look like a nigga that go to parties.
I mean, I've been once.
Okay, so tell us about your experience.
Yeah, the people there are ugly looking.
Okay, then niggas.
Hold up, but you also interview them. So what? Are they all attracted? The ones you interview?
Yeah, I've seen some pretty attractive ones.
You better answer that. They watching right now.
That doesn't matter. I don't care.
All this to say, it's just something I noticed from like the polyamorous world. It seems like that people are really into it and like advocating for it. I always told the people I'd never want to be in a polyamorous relationship.
Hey, I think your work for
It's kind of like going to a nudist beach.
I have no
But
data.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys in the comments feel differently. You know what I'm saying? I just noticed
Set
every
filter?
time I look at
You
these
can set the
people, I
splitter
notice a
to
lot of
filter?
septum
But I
rings.
want- I actually-
notice
I want
shaved
these to
side
mix.
heads. I notice a lot of colorful hair. Still intact. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just little
I have
things you
these
notice.
8 lanes, and I want to make 4
I
lanes.
could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm a pretty average dude myself, so I fit in that bubble.
God
You know what I'm
damn,
saying?
yeah.
You saying?
How did you feel about me swiping no and then us bringing you back?
Yo, low key, it was kind of like a little heart attack. I was like, what's going on?
So what makes you open to the situation?
I'm never done it before. I've been like in your guys' position. I've been in the couple getting the girl, but
Oh,
I've never
man.
been like the girl like with the couple.
This is an open relationship, but no niggas allowed.
We're gonna mix up here. This is gonna be
Depends.
hard.
Everybody got their rules.
We can figure it out.
Most of them are saying no niggas allowed.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience.
It's not mine. I haven't done that. But most of the dudes who say they're open to open relationships, even when they come to the girls, is like, you can invite another girl. You can't be bringing in another dude. Because guys view it differently. Guys see another dude roll to the bedroom, they're like, oh, we gonna devour this person like she a piece of meat. And you do that with your homies on a bitch you don't like. If that's your girl, that's the woman that you actually love and care for. You're not trying to turn it into a Bang Bros video. To be like discarded and y'all busting all over her back and shit.
The reason why a lot of guys will do the a lot of guys will say things like it's not cheating if she makes up with a girl, or like I'd be open but only with another girl. The reason why guys do that, I think, actually stems from insecurity. It's because you don't ever compare yourself to another woman, but you would compare yourself to another man. I think that's the issue. I think that's why guys are generally like a lot of guys are like, if you tell them like, oh God, your girlfriend made out with another chick, like a lot of guys are like, oh cool, that's hot, right? They don't even think about it because there's no competition, right? I think even if I were to stretch that to the extreme even, I bet that, this would be hard to prove, but I bet that if your girlfriend dumped you and she went with a girl instead of a guy, I bet that would feel better for a lot of people. Because you'd be like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? You know? She dated a woman. I can't compete with that. I'm not a woman. Whereas if she goes to another guy, you're like, oh, fuck, wasn't I good enough? Is he more masculine? Does he have a bigger dick? Does he have, like, there's like that competition or whatever that that goes on in your head, I think. This feels like a gross simplification. Nope, it's just me pointing out your coat. One day you'll realize it, but maybe not. There is no justification in your head for like your girl being able to fuck other girls but not guys. The only place that stems from is massive insecurity. That's it. Full stop. It has nothing to do with traditional relationships. It has nothing to do with infidelity. It's only you're coping from insecurities. Because if she's messing with a girl, there's no comparison there. If you get outdone by a girl, who cares? It's a girl. It's a girl. You don't care. But like when another guy comes involved, it's because of an insecurity thing. That's it. That's full stop. That's the only possible reason. Like, sorry, that's just the reality of it. Like, you can be mad, but I don't really care. I'm not gonna argue with you. You can feel what you want, but
polyamorous relationship, that's a train.
Yeah, it's going choo-choo, full speed ahead. You feel me? Now, I'm not saying it's all right. I'm just telling you what it is.
Yeah.
Me personally, if I was to advocate for open relationship, I'd be fair and do it on both sides. If I was to do it, but I wouldn't do it. But if I was, I'm talking about, because I've had a girl test me on that shit sometimes. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Open relationships are dope. You know what I mean? Just throwing that out there, right? She's like, yeah, word. I'm like, yeah. She's like, so you don't mind if I bring another dude? I was like, yeah, I'll leave, give you guys some chicken, and come back 2 hours later. He's like, no, that's disgusting. I'm like, gotcha, bitch. Gotcha. I called your bluff. Huh? You thought I was gonna swear? No, full speed ahead. Let's see who turns first. And she did. Guys. Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha. You thought you was gonna play me? Go ahead, get 10 dicks. I know you don't actually want them. Yeah. See?
You just talking wow.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta call their bluff.
Yeah.
You gotta put a condom on the table and you say like, y'all go have some fun. I'm gonna go watch a movie, get some popcorn, maybe say.
Women are also more insecure if their boyfriend gets fucked by a man than if he gets fucked by a woman, even though men aren't competition for women. How does that happen then? Women feeling bad because men get fucked isn't an insecurity thing for the woman. A lot of women there's like a lot of like, I'll call it homophobia, but there's getting fucked is seen as a feminine thing, or messing with a dick is seen as a feminine thing. So if there's a guy that's like bisexual, or if there's a guy that's getting fucked by other guys, then in your mind that man is now seen as feminine. That's the issue. That's why women don't like it when some women don't like it when men are bisexual or gay, is because they're viewing them now as being effeminate. But the opposite is not true for lesbian relationships. A woman being a dyke or going down another woman or being a lesbo or whatever is not like, that doesn't make her less of a woman in most people's eyes. That's just the way that we tend to view gay relationships in the United States. Nah, really bad take. I really don't like talking about this because most of you guys that have really strong takes on these types of relationships are virgins, and you're just gonna repeat verbatim like dumb, like really autistic shit you've heard off of red pill stuff. Most of these guys are not giving you good advice for relationships. Most of you are going to be virgins despite following all of their advice. None of them have good insight into like maintaining healthy relationships. And most of like the Evo psych they throw at you is either one, misrepresented studies or totally false. Like I don't like to like dive into. It's really, really weird because I have an extensive history of relationships and sexual relationships to argue with people that have fucked maybe one person in their life or been with their hands the entire time trying to argue with me about like sexual dynamics. It's frustrating for me and I don't care. It reminds me when I used to argue about computer benchmarks and parts with people that have never put together a computer before or looked at a single benchmark in life. Like it's just a really frustrating argument. So I don't like to dip into it too much. But what I just said is facts. When you grow up a little bit, or if you talk to more people, or if you actually start dating or fucking people, like it's facts. Women don't like men sometimes, depending on how culturally they're attuned. Women don't like men who fuck other men, not because they feel insecure about the other man, but they feel bad because they feel like the man has been emasculated. And a lot of women don't like men that are emasculated. Like that's just a fact. That's why that's a turnoff for them. Whereas men don't like women men don't care about women that fuck other women because it's not an effeminizing. I don't know what the opposite of feminizing. Effeminizing. Yeah, it doesn't defeminize a woman if she's eating at another woman or if she fucks another woman. There's a difference. There's an incongruence between how we view those gay relationships. That's just true. I mean, you can really go whatever you want, but that's just true.
Wait for another, and I'll be back a little bit later.
Hey, you got my number?
And I need you to clear the bedroom because me and Cindy gonna be fucking in there.
Okay, let's go. Gotcha, bitch.
Destiny, you've said not to take your advice. No, I would never say. I think I give the best advice when it comes to relationships. That's why every single person that posts that says that like my advice is wrong never cites anything. They just say, oh, he has an unconventional lifestyle. I don't recommend my lifestyle, but I absolutely would recommend advice that I would give on things. Of course, I've got more experience than 99% of the red pillars that you fucking talk to, that you see on these fucking shows. They either have never been in serious relationships before, or they just fuck their way using clout through a whole bunch of fucking like brainless, BBL bimbos. But yeah, I would recommend any of the advice I give when it comes to relationships or whatever. If you have questions about that, of course. But just because I give advice or recommend my advice doesn't mean I recommend my lifestyle. It's a totally different thing. Where do you draw the line between insecure and possessive? If you don't want your partner to fuck anybody, if you're a guy and you don't want your girl to fuck with anybody, then that means that you probably value like their sexual, like being not promiscuous, being sexually faithful, being sexually loyal. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be monogamous, that's fine. But if in your mind, you're okay with your girl fucking around with other girls, but not fucking around with other guys, it's because you have an insecurity. Like that's it. There can't be like, if you don't want your partner to fuck around with anybody, that makes sense. But if you only want them to fuck around with girls, that's because you have an insecurity. Like that's just facts. I'm sorry, that's just it. Like you can't like play it halfway. It doesn't make any sense. Unironically, where is the limit or difference between insecurity and boundaries or preferences in your opinion? You'd have to do a really deep introspective guide to figure that out. But like, there's probably like a certain level, there's probably a normal level of insecurity that's like baked into humans that's probably okay. But like insecurity is like usually like tainted as like a negative word. But I mean, there's gonna be like a normal level of possessiveness or whatever that we have over other people, right? That's why I think that's why I would say like 98% of like people or 99% of people should tend towards monogamous relationships because we have like a normal possessiveness or a normal like desire of, I don't want to say ownership, but like commitment, like singular commitment to partners. That's just like a normal baked in part of the human experience. I think that's how we do relationships typically.
Women think that's such a gotcha. Women actually think like, yeah, you don't mind if I bring another dude? Because dudes be like, nah, not with my woman. Call their bluff.
Bring another bitch.
Call their bluff.
Bring another motherfucker.
And now that I'm single, like I kind of want to experiment and be more open-minded and see what I really like.
So I have a partner. We've been together for 8 years, and we're open.
I think that normal dating like has, I don't know, I haven't really felt like
I've hit a stride here, so I think that like I'm the kind of person like I'll try anything once, so the more the merrier, you know.
I like doing everything, I guess. I just like doing what the world has to offer.
Ooh, this girl is dead inside. Poor thing. What happened to you?
Yeah, I feel bad for her.
What happened?
Wait, what?
The more the merrier, you know.
I like doing everything, I guess. I just like doing what the world has to offer.
Ooh, this girl is dead inside.
I don't know how you can tell that,
Poor
but
thing.
okay.
What happened to you?
Look at her face.
Yeah, I
I mean,
feel
she could just be nervous because she's on a YouTube show. I mean, but okay. I feel like there's a little bit of projection going on here, but.
What happened? Yeah, I feel bad. It's not even a whoa. Like some shit happened. You know what I mean?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
You get.
Sorry, she got some. Sorry, my bad.
Gotcha, bitch!
Yeah, you did. I got caught. I was like, that's a lot of titty meat. That was a lot. Shout outs to her.
Nice.
So what do you do for a living?
The main goal is I want to be like a school psychologist for foster kids. Yeah, so I'm really excited to be almost done.
Cool. We have foster kids.
Oh, so you can be the psychologist and we fucking fuck you on the side.
That's so weird and complicated.
That's fucking
Foster kids with the woman you have an open relationship with, and she also is a psychologist. Like,
I don't see how you saw the appeal in that.
Yeah, that's really weird. But shout out to them for being foster parents.
I'm a comedian.
You gotta do a joke. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen those like guys born after 2000 who wear those like shirts that say Reagan Bush 84? When I went to college, I definitely saw a lot of them, and it was like, okay, I don't think you know anything about what 84 was like.
Yeah.
I think you just want to virtue signal like, hey, I hate poor gay people. And I think that we should treat those guys who wear those shirts the same way that we treat like 16-year-old girls who wear AC/DC shirts. So like, if you see
Bro, whenever Hassan fans try to do stand-up, it makes me cringe so fucking hard.
Okay. That was, I don't know what that joke was, but okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
You trying, you
1,
learning.
2, 3, 4.
So I support it.
1, 2,
Hopefully
3,
you
4.
get good. YouTube was not the place to try out that joke.
Oh god, I need 2 lanes of separation.
Because that setup punchline was non-existent. You know those guys that were like born after the 2000s, like they wear those Reagan Bush shirts? Like, so I was going to university at one time, and I saw one of those guys wearing that shirt. And like I said, hey, Obama did it better. And he was like, shut your bush up.
I generally agree with most of your prescriptions on relationships, but am I supposed to take your word when you delve into Evo Psych to explain people's preferences? I don't ever delve into Evo Psych to explain people's preferences. I'm usually appealing to like a hefty amount of anecdotal experience and just like talking to a lot of people generally. I think you can use Evo Psych to make literally any argument you want. I would never rely on Evo Psych. As soon as somebody starts making Evo Psych arguments, probably they don't have much experience. That's generally my takeaway on things.
And that was a better joke. The thing is, whenever you say to someone, hey, oh shit, when someone tells you, hey, you're a comedian, do a joke, your answer should be no.
Probably true.
No, we're not doing that. What do you do for a living? You work in a bank, open a bank account. It's not the time and place, right? Same.
I'm not gonna lie, when people ask me what I do, I say I'm a singer. And they're like, sing for me. I'm like, shoo-be-doop-doop-doop, yay, girl. Girl, tell me fellas.
Can you describe an example of poor Evo Psych argument destiny? Like all of them. Like the hardcore obsession of like women only want resources, so one man can lock down 15 women if he can provide the resources because women are just resource-seeking, like just like weird shit like that. It's like Evo Psych backs all this, but like when you look into the real world, like nobody does these relationships. These are like exceedingly rare. This is just not. It doesn't map onto reality at all. So yeah.
Have you seen her? It must have been 5 minutes ago.
That was good, yeah.
Girl. Yeah. I get my little Chris Breezy on.
I can see that.
I don't beat these women, but I do everything else.
Yeah, I was like, which crease? Nah, yeah. When he was 19.
Girl. Shoo-be-doop-doop-doop, yay, girl. I just like the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I like.
I think it's really hard for one person to expect one person to like fulfill everything you want.
I don't know what the solution is.
Need,
I don't know how to solve this problem. Holy shit.
But when you have like multiple people, people fill different roles in your life for different things. So it's just easier to like get what people have to offer.
Yeah. My wife's cool, but Cindy does anal, so you know I need different things from different people.
Lots of undergrounds. I don't know what was I don't know what I was thinking. How am I doing this?
But stuff with her.
I go hiking with my wife, and with Cindy, I go hiking up her butthole. That's what it looks like when it's lubed up.
He's like, yeah.
There's a breeze in the park.
Yeah, you could park a whole Cliff Bar in there.
Oh wait, hold on. Let's.
Might come out a little extra brown. Let's carry on.
Hey, it's already brown when it goes in. What can brown do for you? That's UPS. I got a package. Yeah. Should I go in the back door? Yeah. All right.
All right.
Okay. Hold on.
It was nice meeting you. I wish we could talk more.
All right, we have to come down to something. We have to do the process of elimination.
Bro.
I thought you were gonna say all of them. I was like, we didn't agree on that, but okay.
But
we pick Yummy. Let's go on a date.
This is gonna look disgusting by the time I finish this. Holy shit.
Do we hug? No.
This is some crime against humanity shit going on right here.
Nice meeting you.
That was it? Okay. Oh shit, hold on. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. The other ABBA pre-tweeter that triggered this up. Is this the anti-Semitism one?
Today's topic:
Oh,
Kanye, Kyrie, and the Jews. Hey, listen, we walking on a thin ice. You feel me? This is how every fucking black artist has been talking about this issue. They be like, hey, you know, we don't support or condone that kind of time, but these are my, So why don't we cut through the bullshit and let's talk about it? I'm gonna ask you first. How do you? You're aware Kanye West, Kyrie Irving have been reprimanded either by big companies like Adidas that have cut their ties with Kanye, or the Brooklyn Nets who suspended Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, and told him he had a bunch of demands, including sensitivity training before he could come back to work, over the fact that he endorsed or kind of highlighted a documentary or a movie of sorts that was on Amazon. He was trying to tell people to go watch it, and that documentary is a little bit spicy, you know, alluded to some anti-Semitic stuff, some mustache man thing. It was kind of crazy.
Well, hold on, wait. I don't think it alluded to some anti-Semitic stuff. I thought that stuff broke out into like full-on like Holocaust denialism and shit, didn't it? Or maybe I'm wrong on that. Fuck. Maybe I need to do some more homework on that. But
allegedly.
So you're gonna go after Kyrie for having like just retweeting the link to that documentary, but you're not gonna go after Jeff Bezos for having that on his platform? Was it the money? What's going on?
Wait. What was that comparison? You're not gonna go after a basketball player for talking about anti-Semitic stuff, or you will, but you're not gonna go after a platform that sells book. Like, I'm pretty sure you can find like every bad book ever written on fucking on Amazon. I'm sure you could Amazon Google like fucking like Mein Kampf. Like, me recommending this book to somebody is not the same thing as it being sold on Amazon. Those are two different things, right? Why are you so confident in your claims about sex and relationships when you admit both that you rely entirely on anecdotal experience of very specific women who sleep with you because you are famous? One, that's not specifically who I rely on. I've slept with a lot of different people. Some before I even started streaming, some that I've only met off Tinder that know nothing about my streaming stuff. But two, I'm also very honest though that like the selection of people that I sleep with is like going to be quite different than a lot of people. Like I prefer like nerdy, aggressive women that are going to be far off the norm from other types of women. I'll say that. But the problem isn't that. The problem though is that you're going to go to other people who are going to tell you that all women think a certain type of way. I'll never tell you that. They're going to say all seduction looks a certain type of way. I'll never tell you that. And they're going to base all of their experience on one, them clout fucking people, because believe it or not, a lot of them only clout fuck too. And two, them overgeneralizing from certain types of areas as well that aren't going to be representative of like most girls or a lot of girls around the world, right? If you're some dude that lives in fucking Des Moines or Kansas City and you're listening to people from fucking Miami or LA telling you what dating markets are like, so like a lot of that advice literally is going to have nothing to do with you whatsoever. But listen, you do what you want, okay? Like, knock yourself out. Believe what you want.
Huh? Hold on. I asked him a question. Huh? You're not going to go after the actual platform that this thing is on, that you're against? You're going to go after the player? Huh? Nah, speak up. I didn't hear. Yeah, nothing. The 6 things that you have to do to go back to, I think that's a bit much. That's me. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. The second thing, if I talk about Kanye, whatever, Kanye, whether you like Kanye or not, who you think is a coon or whatever,
Jesus.
I'm gonna say this: Adidas, you severed your ties with Kanye, but you're still gonna sell the Yeezys.
I mean, they bought the mold, didn't they? Like,
I am not having none of it. None. It's all about the money.
So are you saying you got money but you're not buying?
I got the money. It's right there. Not buying. The inconsistency is a secret. You haven't me saying it, but it's crazy. Yeah. When they said that, oh yeah, no, we're still gonna, yeah, we do not agree with, but we're still gonna sell the price. God damn.
From my perspective, seeing the media and these organizations reprimand Kyrie or Kanye, I suspect that this didn't lower anti-Semitism in any type of way. If anything, it just fomented it and increased it in a lot of ways. You have to get at the root of it, which is a lot of people kind of parody this trope that Jewish people are part of some kind of grand conspiracy or that they have all the power. And then the moment this kind of stuff is brought up, everyone says anti-Semitic, and they try to lobby some kind of criticism or try to get these people to pay for the things that they've said. Even Dave Chappelle recently, in his monologue, people have come at him for saying he's normalizing anti-Semitic. I remember one point during this whole thing, Dave talks about the fact that he worked in Hollywood for a long time. And he's like, there's a lot of Jews in Hollywood. And people are like, oh my God, here's the thing.
Can I just
flip
flip
your
this?
Account and yell like, oh, anti-Semitic. Guess what? If you've ever worked in Hollywood, there's a lot of Jews.
Oh my God,
Whether
please
you
let's
like
just
it
let
or
this
not.
work.
And if our response to that statement is inherently just, get this person, get rid of this person, you know what the average person is looking at that thing and thinking? Did they say a lie? Because if they didn't, why are you trying to cancel them or trying to get them reprimanded? So instead of always turning to immediately just being like, oh, anti-Semitic, why don't you do the smart thing, which is just demystify the reasons why Jewish folks may be overrepresented in positions of leadership in Hollywood, or demystify the reason why Biden's cabinet is like 50% Jewish. Like, even though these are such a small population,
Is that even true?
The only time we see them represented in media
I have no idea if it's
is
true or
when
not.
they're at the upper echelons of society. That's generally how we internalize Jewish people. The thing I'm trying to get at is, as a black person, the only time we ever heard about Jewish people was either like when they were running some company or when they were referenced in rap songs or hip hop music videos. If you're walking through the street and you meet a Jewish person, you might not even know they're Jewish because they just represent as white presenting. The only time you really internalize someone's Jewish is when you hear about them achieving things. Right? It's not like Asians. I see Asians at my corner store. I see them in the streets. They're visible. They're on the buses with me. I don't know when I'm next to a Jewish person. So my only media interpretation of Jewish people is in positions of power or in rap songs being spoken about very poorly. Get me? And as someone who's digested hip hop, all I ever heard since the 90s is like, these niggas are stealing our money. These niggas are doing that. The Jewish people control us, right? That is all I ever heard. And then I look and I got Biden's cabinet that's 50% Jewish. That's all you're seeing from a media perspective. So that's where folks have to come in and demystify the reason why. Because right now, I don't know why. Because if you don't, we're still going to see what it is. We just won't know why it's there. You get what I'm trying to say? And to just draw a quick parallel, black people are overrepresented when it comes to crime in North America. If someone says, yo, black people commit a lot of crime, and you're
That's racist.
You gotta do the extra step and be like, the reason why they're so overrepresented is due to cultural, socioeconomic issues, poverty. Then you demystify it so you understand, okay, once you remove a lot of these factors, actually the crime rate drops significantly until the point where it's like not that different from, here's something that is true, okay? And I actually linked to somebody who really studied Jewish history and was a scholar of such. And they talk about the fact that during the 50s and the 60s, the people who were either the co-owners or owners of a lot of the record labels, okay, were Jewish people. And these were people who were signing these people to exploitative deals, where they're either stealing their money, stealing.
I don't know. I just don't have the history to talk about this. But I think the Tree of Logic come on, and she had a lot to say. I think she did about this. That like, if you worked in the record label business, you fucked over everybody. And the idea that like Jewish people were doing it, like that was like a rare thing, is, according to her at least, was just super not true. That apparently there were a lot of examples of like black people that become famous record label owners and they fucked over all of their talent and everything too. I don't know. I can't speak to the truth of that, but I know that when she was on, she had a lot to say on that.
A lot of the cuts of their artists and basically going through the process where they were taking advantage of black people in these positions. Now, if you understand the history of black folks in North America, there's a lot of exploitation where they feel a lot of the wealth that black people generated has been siphoned out of the community. And when you constantly see media representation of Jewish people and stealing those, as well as historical context that makes that shit true, you can understand why there's a bit of a negative sentiment and animosity. Like, this might surprise y'all, but most black people did not give a fuck about Kanye's comments about Jewish people. They didn't really care about what Kyrie did, because their relationship with the Jewish people was like, oh yeah, that shit sounds true. So until you demystify that, most black people are not gonna care. And then you punish these people, whether you feel it's justified or not, they're just gonna build that animosity even further. So this is why I'm trying to say the dialogue needs to be a bit better.
We're talking about the music and Jewish people, and it's crazy.
There's a bunch of bars.
I remember when I was listening to the Fugees. You know the Fugees was big for me, right? That's the first time I saw some Haitian people being well represented and being proud to be Haitian and stuff like that. Now, before that era, it was not good to be black or to be like Haitian, even like whatever. And I remember I used to be underrated. Now I take Heinz, make my shit constipated. I'm more concentrated. So on my day off with David Sonnenberg, I play golf. Everything is a reference to a CEO of Sony and this and that. Once upon a coming up, Mazel Tov. Problem with no man before I'm black, I'm first human. I protect the right like Frederick Douglass with the slave. Like it was always. If you listen to hip hop, there's always a reference.
Yep.
And saying, well, there's a lot. There's a lot of Jews in this life. There's a lot of black people in a lot of industries, right?
No, fuck it.
There's a lot of people in rap. That's racist. Okay. There's a lot of people in the NFL. That's racist. There's a lot of black people in track and field. None of this is racist and what's good. We could say that. When we talk about white people, though we could say, well, white people in a position of power. Yeah, that's bad. But the other overrepresentation we can't really talk about. And then when we do, because we want to question, we just want to question. We can't do that. It's not. You have to understand how weird it sounds, guys.
Is that true though?
What?
that they just.
I do agree that it's gotten a lot of the racism conversations we've had in this country just fucking suck. That is true. Too much racism in the U.S. is framed only as like white versus everybody, and I think that's really hampered our ability to have intelligent conversations about racism and stuff. Like that's just really hard to do.
Just want a question. Because if we being honest, let me put on my little, you know what I mean. And I got the hat on, okay? If I'm being honest, a lot of people are not just being like, well, I'm quite inquisitive. Some of them being like, yo, listen, bro, how you feel about the Illuminati? Because the Jews run this shit.
Yeah, I heard that thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
I know you like it halal, but you going back to like it kosher too, motherfucker. Yeah, you about to get it.
I understand that, but it's like we can't even. There's no. You can't maneuver this thing. You can't maneuver or ask because you're always walking on eggshells. That's sus. Whether you want a question or you're like, that's. The minute you talk about something, then you get X'd. That's weird. And you know how they say like, hey, if you want to know who's oppressing you, just
say who you can't comment about or make
check
fun of.
who you can't talk about. Man, we can't talk about y'all.
I mean, we also
Like
can't say
you
the
talk
N-word.
about us.
I don't know if black people are oppressing us, right?
We can't.
But
not even state of fact. You're gonna be classified. It's sus.
Are you trying to say you feel oppressed by the Jews?
Nope. Not me.
I don't have that deep of a curiosity about this group of people. I don't. It's not something I really research or take an interest in. I'm just telling you what I've heard through my peripheries pretty much my entire life growing up. And so that's why I wasn't surprised by any of these comments, because this sounded like a lot of the shit I was hearing in hip hop pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my suggestion is just that when it comes to this conversation, because you're looking at two communities that are coming from a place of like damage and extreme hurt, right? You have the Jewish people dealing with their Holocaust and, you know, anti-Semitism throughout the world. And you got black folks who are dealing with, you know, Jim Crow and exploitation and through the media
And
industry.
that's just in the U.S.
You know,
but
not
in
just
the world,
I'm
saying what you're saying, the Jim Crow and everything stuff, that's in the U.S. But you have the apartheid, you have a lot of other things going on throughout the world. So you got your thing, we got our thing.
Yeah, you know, so all this to say, I think a bit of demystifying in regards to why things are in the place that they are. Like I drew the comparison with black crime or whatever it is. There's got to be a better education in regards to a lot of this stuff. Not just, we got 6 demands and you're going to think, do you honestly believe that Kyrie goes through this process and he's changed his opinions? You going to put a grown man in timeout and you think you're going to change his mind? No. If anything, his fan base was bolstered. Even though he may have lost endorsement deals, in terms of the actual ideas, they've just grown more popular and anti-Jewish sentiment is increased. So the strategy that they're employing in order to fix the problem is backfiring. So more conversations are needed in order to make things more sane. Not this shit where you go like, get rid of his brand deals, but we'll still sell the shoes. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Are people gonna be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, Kyrie's not bad. Or they're gonna be like, wait a minute, what's that thing you was posting about? Let me see that.
Yep.
Let me see that shit.
Yep.
What's it about? That's what's gonna happen.
That's kind of true, I think. Yeah.
More than the opposite. So like the way you when you're saying that it's backfiring, yeah, I tend to agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really tend to agree with that. It's
my socials
weird.
blew up with, like, on Twitter or whatever, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when it was hashtag the Jews, it wasn't exactly positive.
I mean,
you know what I mean? When they were talking about Facebook, it wasn't exactly the greatest thing. So when I'm seeing this, I'm like, I think it's backfiring. Just my thoughts.
Is it a couple of Jewish people that care, or most Jewish people don't? Like they're like, man, that's not.
No, they care.
The Jewish people?
Jewish people are like genuinely worried.
I think a lot of Jewish people are probably feeling kind of weird right now. Because there's a lot of weird shit. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of Jewish people are like, there's a lot of weird shit going on right now, guys. Feels a little bit strange. A little more strange than it used to. Yeah. There's a lot of that weird anti-Semitic shit that's getting pretty popular. But, okay. All right. Tomorrow
The great lie we tell ourselves.
I'll probably watch this. We'll do more stuff tomorrow. Sorry, I got Thanksgiving coming up and all that shit today. Short stream today. I love you guys. It's been fun. Be careful. Ripper cappuccino. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace out. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Spend it with your family, you fucking nerds.